IFP.
Order! Order! We will have a moment for silent prayer or meditation. Thank you. We may take our seats. Order. Honorable members, I would like to take this opportunity to welcome the President of the Republic of South Africa. I would also want to take this opportunity to invite the President of the Republic of South Africa to address. Siyabonga. Order. Order.
Thank you, thank you,
Order.
thank you. Thank you very much.
Order. Honorable President, before you address us, members of the public, order. You have been invited to the formal sitting of the National Council of Provinces. Apha, you are expected to listen, but you are not expected to disrupt the proceedings of this House. Ndiyacela bandla nizawucula masesigqibile nisiyeke siqhube umsebenzi waleli langa. Uzakwazi sisi, because otherwise I will be forced to take you out of the sitting and andifuna ukuyenza lonto. Masibe nembeko bantu bakuthi siyeke umongameli addresse lendlu. The Honorable President.
Chairperson, Chair, on a point of order.
Honorable President, please.
Motlhompegi modula stilo.
You are on a point of order, Honorable Koni.
Ke a leboga motlhomphegi modulasetilo. Ke ne ke kopa go tsibusa gore malobanyana fale re ile ra ikuela gore ntate mo pele mo wa Rezuma a seka a tlhola a tla mo ntlong ye ka gore o paletswe ke gore a tle a itshegetse ka melao le melawana ya buka ya melao ya rona e re eteletseng pele mo Afrika Borwa. Ke boe gape ke ikuele gore maloba gone ka kgang ye mme Mokwele o ile motlhomphegi mme Mokwele o ile a itlisa mo ntlong and then mma ga ka itseela tsie to a point ya gore mme Mokwele a feleletsa re begile letsogo. Yaanong ke kopa gore mma ka botlhomphegi wa setilo sa gago ke ikopela ka boikokobetso gone jalo gore re a seke a bua sepe a letlelela gore a bue mo tegantlo e ka gore re o
Thank
ga
you very
tlhompe
much,
molao.
Honorable Koni.
Thank you.
Honorable Koni. Honorable President, please take your seat.
Sorry.
Please take your seat. Honorable Koni, you are raising a point of order which was raised at a sitting a few weeks ago in Cape Town in the National Council of Provinces. At that point, you raised the same point of order. I ruled at that time that the president would be allowed to address the House and proceed to do what is expected of him to do as per the program of the NCOP. I want to sustain the ruling I made on that day, and that your point of order is not carried, and therefore I hope it is not repeated because the ruling will stay the same. Honorable President, please take your seat, please take your seat, Honorable President. There is another one. Honorable Mukwili.
Then yours can, yeah, yours is on.
Ke a go leboga modulasetilo. Ke lebogele tšhono ya gore o bomphile gore ke emelle ka fo tlase ga molawana wa ntlokgolo ya di-province. Jaaka le mokgatlho wa economic freedom fighters, re buile maloba le ga o tsweletse go diragatsa molawana o seng mo molaong wa go netefatsa gore Rezuma o mo fa matla a gore e nne mo presidente le ga gone a tlodile molao wa gore a tlotle ntlo ya gagwe kgotsa kantoro ya gagwe ya ka mo presidente.
Honorable
Re go
Mokwele.
itsise gore jaaka EFF we are not going to listen to him, we are going to move out, and after that
We will come back once Zuma is finished. We will come back to the House.
we want to make you aware that you have crowded the mob of ANC with our monies. We are moving out. We'll come back, Chair. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Order. 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 Honorable President, you may take the stage.
Thank you very much, National Chair. The Chairperson of the National Council of Provinces, Deputy Chairperson of the NCOP, Honorable Ministers, Honorable Ministers and Premiers, Deputy Ministers, and MECs, members of the National Parliament and provincial legislatures, the executive mayors, and the leadership of SALGA, traditional leaders present here, councillors, Mpagati wonke wase Buffalo City namaphethelo. Ladies and gentlemen, molweni, sanbonani, dumelang. We thank the NCOP for bringing us together for another session of taking Parliament to the people. We meet in the beautiful home province of Oliver Regional Tambo. Next year, in October 2017, the country will celebrate the centenary of his illustrious life. An interministerial committee has begun planning this momentous celebration of a national hero and a man who sacrificed a lot for the liberation of our country and its people. Chairperson, one of the highlights of the year 2016 is that it marks the 20th anniversary of the signing into law of the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa by His Excellency President Nelson Mandela. This took place in Sharpeville on the 10th December 1996. The executive, judiciary, and legislature and our people will come together in Sharpeville on the 10th December next month to mark this historic occasion. The anniversary is an opportunity for us to recommit ourselves to building a truly non-racial, non-sexist, democratic, and prosperous South Africa, as called upon by this progressive constitution. Honorable members, just over 3 months, over 15 million South Africans came out to vote in the local government elections. Of the 257 councils, only 2 have not been constituted as a result of court proceedings. Ngutu local community and Nzinyati District Municipality, both in KwaZulu-Natal. The success in constituting councils means our local government sphere has come of age. On the 9th of November, the first by-elections of this new administration were held in 15 wards across 6 provinces, and these also went very well. The task now is to continue improving the performance of local government so that services to our people can be delivered better and faster each day. Inhloso kahulumeni ukuthi abantu baphile kangcono, bahlale ezindaweni ezinezidingo, ugesi, amanzi, imitholampilo, imigwaqo, izikole kanye nokuphepha kuphele ubugebengu. Asisoze siphumule uma kusekhona abantu abalala bengadlile, abahlala ezindaweni ezingaphephile, abangenawo ugesi namanzi nezinye izidingo. Kuningi osekwenziwe uhulumeni. Progress is being made in many areas. Let me talk about housing, for instance. Government has an impressive record of delivering over 4.3 million houses and subsidies since the dawn of democracy. We are happy to announce that Eastern Cape Province has contributed close to 600,000 housing units since 1994. Providing shelter to more than 2 million people in the province. Since the beginning of the current financial year, which is April 2016, we have successfully delivered more than 1,500 houses and services to the people of various communities in the Buffalo City Metro at a cost of about 125 million rands. The government is also hard at work fast-tracking the issuing of title deeds to the beneficiaries of our government subsidized houses. Access to water remains a critical priority, not only now during the crippling drought, but generally as an essential service for our people. Water is like a sanitation. Water is life, and sanitation is dignity. We expect to see the beginning of the construction of the Umzimkhulu Dam, the detailed design work for this groundbreaking mega project is already nearing completion. The highly anticipated new Foxwood Dam in Adelaide and the Zalu Dam near Lusigisigi are also advancing well and are now in the planning stages. The construction of the Tocha Dam is 57% complete, while the Mbasha Dam also on schedule. Other newly completed dams in this province are the Ludeke Dam at Mbizana, which is now 100% complete, and Mtwaka Dam, which is 100% complete. We are a nation at work, building a better life for and with our people. Honorable members, I know that all of you care about the future of our youth, about education. Our host, the Eastern Cape, has amongst the best schools and universities. I'm happy to report today that this province is now the leading beneficiary of government schools infrastructure program under the Accelerated Schools Infrastructure Development Initiative, popularly known as ASIDI. The objective of ASIDI is to build decent modern schools with water, sanitation, and electricity. It is also to replace schools constructed from inappropriate materials such as mud, planking, or asbestos structures with proper structures. In the Eastern Cape alone, government has to date built 126 new state-of-the-art schools. Just yesterday, the Basic Education Minister handed over yet another state-of-the-art school, namely Bungu Primary School in the border at OR Tambo District Municipality. The school boasts, among others, a nutrition center, an internet connection, a science laboratory, and a resource center, to name just a few. This school shows how far we are prepared to go to provide a better education for our children in this country. Nationally, to date, a total 217 replacement state-of-the-art schools have been built and handed over to the communities. And also, since 2014, we have provided electricity to 180 schools, sanitation to 167 schools, and water to another 248 schools. At the same time, government is aware of the perennial problems of shortages of vital resources such as learning and teaching support materials, school furniture, and teachers. The Basic Education Department has assured me that it has completed a comprehensive needs assessment for all schools in this province. Together with the provincial authorities, they are in the process of addressing the identified needs. All hands are on deck to address the reported problems as they arise. Compatriots, we are a nation at work, building a better life for and with our people. Chairperson, honorable members, the fight against extreme poverty continues. Government's social assistance program plays an important role in protecting the poorest households against poverty, supporting 17 million South Africans, especially vulnerable children, older persons, and people with disabilities. In the Eastern Cape, government provides about 3 million social grants. Within the Buffalo City region, government provides social grants to about 200,000 children beneficiaries. Located particularly in East London and King Williamstown to alleviate poverty. Government is also keen to provide income-generating opportunities for beneficiaries of the social grants. Opportunities exist in the provision of school uniforms to vulnerable children, food to the network of food distribution centers, and also the provision of other goods and services. 139 cooperatives in the Eastern Cape have been constructed to provide social relief of distress packages of food parcels at a value of 6 million rand. In 2013, Cabinet approved the National Policy on Food and Nutrition Security, together with the Household Food and Nutrition Security Strategy. In line with this policy, food distribution centers were established, with food being bought from local producers and suppliers. To date, over 200 distribution centers have been established nationally and are operating at a budget of 100 million rand. In the Eastern Cape, a total of 25 centers were established. 6 of these centers are in the Buffalo City Metropolitan Municipality, located in Embongweni, KwaZakhele, Timbaza, Abbotsford, and 2 in East London. City Komame, Maswa sebenzis lamathuba afika nohulumeni sixoshe indlala masakhe izakhiwo ezibizwa kama cooperatives silime sidayisele uhulumeni uzothenga kinina sixoshe indlala emakhaya akufuneki ukuthembela kuhulumeni kuphela amathuba avulekile ukusebenzisa amandla ethu nesinakho esingakwenza siziphilise. Chairperson, I believe that we all share the concern about the future of our youth and the need to provide the best opportunities for them which we did not have during our time when we were youth. We would like to reiterate that we have heard the legitimate concerns of our students who have been protesting about fees, especially students from poor households. We all support the call to make education accessible to the poor, which is why we will continue to expand access for the poor through the National Student Financial Aid Scheme, NSFAS. The scheme currently supports close to 500 students at university and TVET colleges. This year alone, NSFAS has disbursed loans and bursaries to the tune of 14 million rand. Government will also provide an additional 9 billion rand for NSFAS over the period ahead, raising its funding by over 18% a year to universities over the next 3 years. Sifisa ukugcizelela uqinisa ke ukuthi uhulumeni uyavuma ukuthi izingane eziphuma emakhaya ampofu kufanele zisizwe uma zifunda emanyuvesi nasema-college. Uhlelo lwemali NSFAS luyaqhubeka nokusiza intsha. Siyaqhubeka futhi nokufuna amakhambi okusweleka kwemali yokufunda emakhaya. Amakhaya amaningi adingayo. Kunekomishana entsha, kunekomishana ehleli sikhuluma nje eholwa ijaji uHayer ebheka ukuthi singayixazulula kanjani lenkinga yokufunda kwabantwana. Njengoba abantwana babekhalile ukuthi bafuna ukufundaze ukuthi lokho uma sithi siyakwenza sizokwenza kanjani ukuze kwenzeke singasho nje kanti sizokwenza. Lo msebenzi usaqhubeka. Ikomishana kude buduze nje izoreporta ukuthi isihambe yafika phi. Lokho kuzosiza ukuba isizwe sonke sizwane ngokuthi sizokwenza kanjani ukuthi abantwana bafunde kungabi khona umntwana ongezufunda ngoba kuthiwa uphuma emzini entulayo. Sinxusa izinhlangano zomphakathi nezemfundo zibambisane nale commission, zihambise imibono khona ukuze izwe lithole ukusizakala. Bonke abanembono abangase babe namasu ukuthi singafinyelela kanjani kuleli thuba elifunwa isizwe ukuthi abantwana abathola ithuba lokufunda, kungathi abangenalutho bangalithola ithuba lokufunda. Siyokhumbula ukuthi bakwethu lolu daba lokuthi imfundo iyohamba kanjani lwashiwo emashumini amaningi eminyaka eyedlule ukuthi uma sesikhulekile kofanele ukuthi iminyango yezemfundo ivulwe kuwo wonke umuntu, ukuthi labo abahluphekile uhulumeni abasize ukuze bafunde. So ukuthi imfundo ibaluleke kangakanani yinto esayisho nangenkathi kuleli nkuleko kwakungenye yezinto eyayihamba phambili. Uhulumeni usenze lukhuluke ekuzameni ukugcwalisa leso sithembiso. Sikhuluma nje kunezikole ezingasatheli imali emfundweni ephansi, ongenwa ukufundwa mahala. Lokho kusho ukuthi uhulumeni lenqubo mgomo yakhe ngokwezemfundo ukuthi abahluphekile abangasali ngemumva useyayenza, uyayimplementa kumanje. Kwezemfundo ephakeme leNSFAS engikhuluma ngayo yona ehlangabezana nezingane ezihluphekileyo. Into efunekayo ke ukuthi sicacise kahle lento uma sekuvela umbiko kaCommission. Ingakho nje sithi bonke abantu abaye kuCommission bayobeka ukuthi imbono yabo ithini na, ngoba imfundo yona into esibeke phambili, ngoba sikho isizwe esingathuthuka noma esingaphuhla singenabo abantu abanikezwa amakhono bafundiswa. Izizwe eziphumeleleyo emhlabeni, izizwe ezatshala kakhulu kwezemfundo, ngoba ngemva kwamashumi ambalwa eminyaka lelizwe lingaba izwe lihamba phambili kwezemfundo. Akekho umuntu othi ayingabi khona imfundo. Sonke sisho njalo, asingakubangike lokho. Silwe sengathi kukhona abathi abayifuna imfundo. Siyifuna sonke. Ukuthi nje sizoyenza kanjani siyenze kungekho ukungezwana. Ingakho nje sithi abazali nabo bonke abantu mabasukume, sijabule kakhulu ukuthi basukumile njengoba abantwana bebebhikisha. Honorable members, beyond higher education, we are acutely aware of the challenges, particularly of unemployment among our youth. Our university graduates sit in street corners and road pavements, crying out for something to do, anything, as they say. Government is doing its best, working with business and labor to create the right environment for job creation. We are also creating more opportunities for business to thrive. Right here in the Eastern Cape, government has, through the Department of Trade and Industry, made possible approximately 23 billion rand private sector investment through various incentives programs that has supported over 33,000 jobs, over 9 billion rand of the investment was made available through the automotive incentive scheme that supported investment from Mercedes-Benz South Africa, Volkswagen South Africa, Goodyear South Africa, and FAW vehicle manufacturer. Last week, the Trade and Industry Minister, Dr. Rob Davis, and the Eastern Cape government launched the Komani Industrial Park Revitalization Project in Queenstown. This is the 4th industrial park to be launched this year. To date, the 4 launched parks combined employ almost 40,000 people. Indeed, we are a government at work. Building a better life with and for our people. Chairperson, building a better life includes ensuring safety and security of the most vulnerable, especially women and children. On the 25th of November, the campaign of 16 days of activism of no violence against women and children will begin. We call on all our citizens to join hands with government and civil society organizations to fight the scourge of abuse and violence against women and children. We urge the police to treat these cases with empathy, seriousness, and urgency. Let us increase the conviction rates so that we eradicate this scourge. Bagwethu, njengona sesi zoqala umkhankaso wokulwa nokuhlukunyezwa kwabesifazane nezingane, sinxusa isizwe sonke ukuthi sibambisane nabomthetho ukulwa nalesi sihluku kanye nobulwane lokhu esithi ngesiZulu bunswela boya obubhekiswe kwabesimame kanye nezingane. Uma sibambisene sizokwazi ukubhekana nalenkinga siyinqobe futhi. Chairperson, building a better life means ensuring that...
Honorable President, is that a point of order? On what point are you rising, Honorable Member?
Yes, Chairperson, I rise on the point of order that on the order paper, it's allocated 30 minutes to the President. He's already speaking for 32 minutes. Thank you.
No. Honor, in terms of the rules of this House that guides the speaking time of the President is allowed to speak as long as he is allowed to speak. Honorable Labuschagne.
Honorable Chair, according to the rules of this House, no person can speak longer than 30 minutes. And if that he had an open slot, then it should have been indicated on this paper that the President has an open slot. All parties had to give away 1 minute to lessen the procedure. So then the House must be consistent on the rules. The rules indicated 30 minutes, and the rules of this House say no person longer than 30 minutes. Thank you.
In terms of the rule book that is before me, there is no allocation of 30 minutes. The speakers list that you have is the one that speaks of it. Thank you very much. Honorable President, can you continue?
Honourable
Chairperson,
point of order.
building a better
Point of
life
order.
means ensuring that our
Honorable President,
constitution...
can you just hold? What point are you raising, honorable member?
Honourable Chair, it's about my rule book and I don't know whether it's been replaced.
Can you speak to the mic, please? I can't hear you.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Honourable Chair, I don't know whether we're using the same rule book. My rule book 45(1) states the following. Except where these rules provide otherwise, members may not speak in a debate of the council longer than the time allocated to them in the in the list for scheduled speakers. Now, 45(2)A makes provision where there is no such a list. There is a list, and I think you must either ask the President to stop or you must take a decision from the House to suspend the rules. There's no other way out.
Okay. No, Chief Whip, may I just make a ruling on this? Because the member is reading the rules very selectively. Because if you read 2 says that the President and the Deputy President may speak as long as they may be allowed. Secondly, the presiding officer may use his or her discretion insofar as allowing a speaker at the podium to speak. And therefore, I am using 2 things. That is 2 and at the same time my discretion. And I'm allowing the President to continue. Continue, President.
Chairperson, building a better life means ensuring that our constitution and the laws of the land protect our people from the violation of their rights to human dignity and from discrimination on the basis of color or race, among others. In this regard, allow me to strongly condemn the painful treatment meted out to Mr. Victor Mlotshwa from Middelburg, who was beaten up, put in a coffin, and threatened with being burned alive by 2 men who reportedly accused him of trespassing. This incident, which was posted on social media, is shocking, painful, and despicable in the extreme. The incident is a reminder of the deep-seated racist attitudes that still prevail among some in our country who still regard black people as lesser human beings. The perpetrators of this crime and all others who commit various acts of racism in our non-racial democracy must face the full might of the law. This incident is also a reminder of the need to continue fighting for a better life for farm workers, given the secluded nature of farm work. Many suffer in silence. We have urged the Department of Labor and other departments to ensure improved monitoring of the working and living conditions of farm workers. This matter has also brought into sharper focus the question of access to land by black people. Since 1994, the Department of Rural Development and Land Reform, through the redistribution program has transferred 4.7 million hectares of land. This is made up of 5,281 projects amounting to 12 billion rand. More than 120,000 households have benefited from the redistribution. In addition to the above, the Commission on the Restitution of Land Rights have transferred more than 1.9 million hectares to restitution beneficiaries since 1994. A program continues to be implemented, and government will continue to process land claims and assist communities to get their land back. Government continues to look for ways of speeding up the process and also to support those who have regained the land to use it profitably. Honorable members, the promotion of access to justice is one of our key achievements of democracy. On the 29th November this year, we will reach another milestone as we open the Limpopo High Court. This is the first High Court building to be constructed since 1994 and the first High Court for the people of Limpopo province, who have heard to travel to Gauteng before. In terms of the jurisdiction, the court has its main seat in Polokwane and 2 local seats in Lephalale and Thohoyandou. The services that reside in the Limpopo High Court are the Master of the High Court, Office of the State Attorney, Legal Aid in South Africa, the National Prosecuting Authority, the Provincial Office of the Chief Justice, Office of the Family Advocate, and the Directorate Legal Administration of the Department of Justice and Constitutional Development. We are very pleased to bring the wheels of justice closer to the people of the Limpopo province. Chairperson, let me also take this opportunity to remind honorable members that November is Disability Awareness Month, during which we promote equality and opportunity for persons with disabilities. On the 3rd of December, the country will commemorate the International Day for Persons with Disabilities. Malungu ahloniphekile nomphakathi wonke, uhulumeni uyaqhubeka nokusebenza kanzima ukulungisa izimpilo zabantu. Abaningi sebekutholile ukusizakala. Siyazi futhi ukuthi baningi abasalinde izidingo nempilo engcono. Ngeke siphumule uma impilo yabamnyama ingakalungi, ingakaphucuki. Ngoba kulomshikashika owadlula ibona babecindezelwe kakhulu. Ingakafiki esimeni esigculisayo. kwezomnotho nasekuhlaleni kahle. Uma nje singakafiki lapho soloku sisebenze njalo siyoze sifike ekugcineni. Ngoba siyazi phela ukuthi indlela eya ekugcineni inde. Njengoba siqhubeka nalomsebenzi wokwakha impilo ibe ngcono, siqhuquzela amazinga amathathu kahulumeni. Uhulumeni wasekhaya, wesifundazwe nokazwelonke ukuba basebenze nabantu ngaso sonke isikhathi, babambisane nomphakathi ezinhlelweni zabo. Imihlangano mayibizwe kuxoxwe nabantu, babeke izimvo zabo ngezindawo abahlala kuzo nangezinto ezizidingo zabo. Abantu akufanele baze bagcwale emgwaqweni bebhikiza ngenxa yokungalalelwa abaphathiswa. Emazingeni ahlukene. Uma sijwayele noma siqhelile ukuthetha nabantu, abantu bazi ukuthi izingxaki zikuphi nokuthi xa kulibala izinto zophuhliso zilibala kanjani, ngeke baphumele emgwaqweni bayobhikisha ngoba bayobe bazi. Baphumele emgwaqweni nje ingoba abaqondi ukuthi kwenzeka ntoni, bayahana, balalela amahemhem, rumors. Ezo zinto ke zenza ukuba babe nomsindo. Kungafanele xa sixhumana nabo sithetha njalo bazokwazi ukuthi xa kunzima kunzima phina, nokuthi kuyeza lokho abakubona kwenzeka kwabanye. Asixhumane nabantu kakhulu. Ibalekile lonto kuba singabayeka abantu. Kuba xa singaxhumani nabantu aba bathethayo phezulu abathetha yonke imihla le bethetha izinto nokho abangazaziyo noma begxeka, kuba uyibona ke izona nyani ke abantu abacinga uba zizo kanti akuzona. Asingadedeli aba bantu abangenzi into abathethayo nje kuphela ukuba badukise abantu bethu umqondo. Masithethe nabantu bazi ukuba intoni na le kufanele yenzeke. Honorable members, South Africa is a great country and has great people. Our country has enormous potential and can be a real powerhouse of the continent and create a better life and prosperity for all. To achieve the country's true potential, we need to spend less time on political squabbles and dedicate more effort to working and building our country together. We have seen the value of working together in the collaboration between government, business, and labor to reignite growth and avoid a sovereign downgrade of our country. We need to find ways of translating that spirit to all walks of life and to all battles that we need to fight as a nation. We cannot defeat poverty, inequality, and unemployment if we continue to spend so much time fighting among ourselves. Our country is a much better place to live in than it was before 1994. an independent agency, the South African Institute of Race Relations has pointed out in its latest report that life in South Africa is much better since 1994. We should build on this, or build on these achievements as we create a more prosperous South Africa. My plea is that we should unite, pull together, and build our country. I thank you, Chairperson, for this opportunity to meet with the National Council of Provinces once again on its important program of taking Parliament to the people. I thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Order. Thank you very much, His Excellency. Just before I call the chairperson of the National Council of Provinces, may I bring something to the attention? I want to, honorable members, order. May I just bring something to the attention of members who just walked in? That I hope you are aware that in terms of the proceedings and the processes in the House, a member is not supposed to cross a line, and you know what is to cross a line. And that's exactly what you did now. And please, I hope that it won't happen again. Thank you very much. No, I don't need a response, honorable member. I was just cautioning you that you crossed the line.
Order, Chair. Order.
On what point are you rising, honorable member?
Ke a leboga modula Steve. Sa ntlha ke re ke a itse ke molao gore ga ka tshwanna go feta. Mare o tshwanetse o itse gore lefelo le ke lefelo le leng gore ga se lefelo le familia le rona. That is why re dirisitse tsela e re tsentsweng ka yone mo ntlong. Ene gore e be re tsena go santsane go na le sebui ke go bontsha gore nako ya sebui ne le kgale e fedile ka metsotso e ka nnang 15. Ke a leboga modula Steve.
That is why I was saying, I was just cautioning the member, because for so long as there's a person speaking or a member speaking, you should have just waited until. Honorable Nyambi.
Deputy Chairperson, it's about the point of order that was raised earlier on and you made a ruling. And now it's coming back again in a different form. And aspersion was cast to you. So I want you to rule in terms of Rule 46, subsection B. A member deliberately making a statement in the House while the member knowing very well that is false. Earlier on, this issue of time, and now it's coming back again as if we have deliberately allocated more time, yet the rules are very clear. If you read Rule 45, it's very clear about the issue of time, and you made that ruling. So I want you to deal with that issue, because it's creating an impression as if you deliberately allocated more minutes to the president, yet it's not the case. Our rules are very clear. Thank you.
No, it's very simple. Members must familiarize themselves with the rules of the House, and that's it. May I therefore take the opportunity to call on the chairperson of the National Council of Provinces to address us?
On a point of order, Chairperson.
On what point are you raising, honorable member? Just
Ke
hold.
kopa gore se ka tla go shotla ka rona ka lebakeng la di-interest tse wena o nang le tsone, because re itse melawana ya ntlo ya NCOP, ntlo e ga re familia le yone. Jaanong re tsene ka gore se bui mo podiumeng nako ya gago e ne e chaile, and re kopa gore this thing ya gago o tlhole ntse gore batho ga ba itse di-rules, o tlogela gore undermine, and o tlogela go shota ka rona ka gore o dirile ka bomo gore se buile nako e feteletseng.
That's not a point of order, and I'm going to continue to entertain that point. Can you continue on over?
Deputy Chairperson of the NCOP, His Excellency the President, members of the Executive, the Speaker of the Eastern Cape and other provincial speakers, members of Parliament, members of provincial legislatures, makhosi ya rona afano, abantwana begazi. We are honored to have you here. O mama no tata. Our theme, following up on our commitments to deliver quality education and ensure economic advancement of our people, sums up the work which we started in June when we first sent our research team to the Eastern Cape. This visit of the research team was preceded by discussions of various materials, by analysis of various reports, Stats SA, metric results, ANA results, the Auditor General's results, perusals of the different portfolio and select committee reports on education. We know that the NCOP took its provincial week. It also took its oversight week and asked honorable members to focus on issues education throughout South Africa. We know that we did this because there was no way Parliament could remain immune and deaf to the national cry and unease of the student movement who are calling for speedier and greater access to free education. We also had to take into cognizance that it is the 40th anniversary of the 1976 Students' Uprising. We also were aware that in the sluggish world economic times, where South Africa is affected like any other economy, unemployment, and especially youth unemployment, becomes a big issue in any country. We also had to be part of the solutions as the legislative sector, Honorable President, to try and find better space, better time to discuss about the solutions and the thrust and the emphasis of a South Africa that begins to marry its education endeavors from early childhood learning to primary to institutions of higher learning to the very precepts of what is now a blueprint of South Africa, the National Development Plan. So we have concentrated on Alfred Nzo. We were drawn there by the results of the district. We have visited various early childhood learning centers, public libraries and schools. We have visited and discussed with various SGBs and school management teams. We have inspected classes, laboratories where they exist, libraries, toilets, playing grounds, and hostels. We have been thrilled, honorable members, and we have been shocked. We have met up with good schools. We have also met up with sorry, bad schools. But throughout our interactions with the various institutions of learning, we're impressed with the quality and the commitment of the school governing bodies in the Eastern Cape. We want to say what impressed us was even where it was quite clear that the leadership of the school governing body was not very educated. They were no different from those that we met who were graduates and postgraduates. They were committed to ensure that the schools work well. We have witnessed poor morale and work ethics. We have listened to queries on policies which come from either the provincial executive or the national executive as to the filling of vacancies. We have also listened to complaints around the centralization of the acquisition of student learning materials. We have also listened to good teachers frustrated by the policies of the Education Department. Honorable President, we have also met up with teachers who are unable to converse to the learners in English. That gives us a problem because in matric, most of your subjects are written in English, and if a teacher cannot impart English, that material in English, that means that the levels of acceptance by the and recognition of material and passing of subject is an issue. We have also visited schools which have confident and competent learners as well as leadership. Honorable members, we're agonizing about what South Africa thinks about ECDs. We do not want to see ECDs as just places where children are dumped whilst the parents go to work. We want to draw a thread between the ECDs and what we want to see South Africa becoming tomorrow. And therefore, we want to say that we are worried about the training of ECD guiders. We are worried about the conditions of the ECD structures. We are worried about the payment. We are worried about the nutrition that our children are given. But we are also worried about sanitation at ECD level as well as at school level. We want to say that we are worried about nutrition also because we have noted that there are discrepancies even on the subsidies towards schools on subsidization of food. We are worried about where our children's food is prepared, about the state of refrigeration and the just general conditions of cooking. We are worried about the value of the nutrition which our children get. Honorable President, water and sanitation is an issue at schools. Unsafe toilets we are worried about, and we must again say that in the pre-visits, we took issue with certain schools and we were quite happy when the Eastern Cape came to the party and promptly delivered temporary structures for sanitation and for water to those schools. We want to say we will continue to monitor until the permanent structures are in place. We want to say that we're worried about discipline and drug abuse at schools. We are worried about what happens in public libraries. We're worried about the custodianship, Mongameli, about public libraries. Kuyangabazo. Do they belong to the municipalities? Do they belong to arts and culture? Who determines the contents of the books and the quality of the books that go into the public libraries? Of what percentage must public library carry school children in? So we are worried about this. We are worried about the training of public librarians. We are worried about the safety, not only of the public libraries, we are worried about the safety in schools, the safety in clinics. We are worried about the looting of laboratories across the board. So we want to say that we want to see a get-together on education to take a review We want to say that we were also appalled at the condition of the school playing grounds. Some schools don't even have. The ones that they have, they are unkempt. Udoti ukhona esikolweni. So we want to say that as members of Parliament, both the National Assembly and the NCOP, we want to say that there are issues. We're worried about the structures, Mongameli, of the schools. About confusion of policies when we get to schools which have children who have disabilities. We're worried about the funding models, we're worried about the training and the expectations for these children later on in life. We then had public hearings together with the Eastern Cape Provincial Legislature in this very hall. We have visited almost 50 sites in Buffalo City and the areas. We have had, Mongameli, issues relating to Amapolisa. The Minister of Police was in the House yesterday. He has made certain commitments which we will follow up. We have had issues raised around access roads and the quality of roads. The Deputy Minister was in the House yesterday. We will follow on the commitments they have made. We have also had the public complaining about the tenders. They make an example and they say one person can have up to 10 contracts now. In any given instance, that is rather overdoing it. So we want to say that public has also not just concentrated on education, they've also told us that the queues at clinics and hospitals are too much. They have taken us back to the quality and the availability of medication at clinics and hospitals. They have also spoken to us about the quality of service. So, Mongameli, we want to say, we want to look at one, policy gaps. We want to look at centralization of procurement in the Department of Education. We want to look at schools with special needs, and we want to look at curriculum. We want to look at giving space and consultation.
As you conclude, Chair.
Yes, as I conclude, we want to look at the closure of schools, and we want to say that refreshers, subjects and courses for teachers become very important. We will continue to follow up. We will continue to pester the executive in all three levels to make sure that when we come back next year, we bring delivery on the promises made. Ngiyabonga.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Members, you've got the speakers list. Here's a chair here, right at the back. So if you are aware that you are the next speaker, may you please make use of this chair so that we speed up the process. Honorable Makweba.
Thank you, Deputy Chairperson. Honorable members, I stand here before you today with a very heavy heart. This province is my home. Born and bred in this province. I was born in the township of Timbaza, 80 kilometers outside from this place where we're sitting this morning. I have lived 48 years of my life in this province, so I understand this province, I understand its challenges and frustrations. As the father myself this morning, like many parents, I understand and worry about many frustrations and the shortcomings of our education system. In this very week, I had a privilege to go with other members of the NCOP, and we visited many sites. Amongst the sites that we visited was Sinovuyo High School. What we saw and witnessed in that high school was very, very depressing and painful. It was a school where there's no ceiling, broken windows, and the infrastructure was completely shattered. As we sat there, we pondered, and we were all worried as members. And this school represents many schools that we have in this entire province. I'll mention one school that the members know in Dalibunga near Kumbum. We have children that still have no water, they have no sanitation today. I'll mention a school in Matatiele, again very depressing and shocking today. In that school, you have 13 learners sharing a textbook, and these learners are learners that must write matric at the end of this year. Again, in Sinovuyo High School, just in Berlin, from where we're sitting, we also, found out that there have been many challenges that the teachers told us. In our meeting with the school principal, as well as with the acting director of the district, they mentioned that because we wanted to understand, honorable members, why and what is it that they were doing, what interventions and remedial action they were putting in place, to improve the performance of these schools. And the response that we found was that, the department or the district has got 13 cars that they are using, sharing amongst themselves. And therefore, it becomes difficult for school inspectors to go and inspect the school, assist the school to perform. And these problems are problems that are not only unique in that school, are problems happening in many other schools. Sinovuyo School, honorable members, its performance last year, the matric pass rate was 26%. In 2014, the matric pass rate was 35%. In 2013, the pass rate was 34%. So you can tell that there are serious problems in our education system. Honorable members, this issue is an issue that has been there for many of us to see. And as we sit here today, as honorable members dealing with these matters, I want to remind you that the education department in this province has failed our children. And these are the failures that I want to mention here today, things that are still in existence. There are still 600 schools in this province that lack water, electricity, and sanitation. And these schools are many and they are vast. And again, another second problem that we have, that the mud schools have not been eradicated. Yet, according to 2014-2015, the education infrastructure grant was underspent by the Eastern Cape Department. And this money was meant to build the schools. It was underspent by how much? 211 million. In the current financial year, ladies and gentlemen, the Minister of Finance, Mr. Pravin Gordhan, cut the Eastern Cape education infrastructure budget by 12% from 1.7 billion in 2015-2016 to 1.5 billion in 2016-2017 due to the grant being underspent by the department. Honorable members, interventions were made by the department.
Honorable, just hold. Just take a seat. On what point are you rising, Honorable Member?
Honorable Deputy Chair, I needed to check if the member is prepared to take a question.
Are you prepared to take a question?
Not today, I've got a limited time. No, Chairperson, not today.
No, he's not prepared to take a question. Honorable Dlamini.
Honorable members.
Just take a seat, Honorable Dlamini.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. The honorable member is deliberately mispronouncing amagama esiXhosa.
No, Honorable Member. Honorable Member, that's not a point of order. Can you continue the debate, Honorable Member?
Honorable members, Interventions were made. Cabinet in 2011 took over the education department by invoking provisions of Section 100 of the Constitution. They took it over because there were problems of underspending by the department.
Order, Chair.
And these problems,
There's a point of order.
Ke a leboga
Take a
modulasetulo.
seat.
Ke ne ke kopa gore se bue tle, se leke go bua leleme la batho, gore batho ba kgone go mo utlwa ka gore ke motho wa mo Kapa Bokone. Ke a
Honorable
leboga.
member, that's not a point of order. Can you continue, honorable member?
interventions were made to correct the state of education in the Eastern Cape Department. In 2011, Cabinet took over the Provincial Education Department by invoking provisions of Section 100 of the Constitution after the department overspent its staff salaries budget and had to lay off 4,000 temporary teachers, suspended school transport at the time, and terminated the school nutrition program. While it overspent on salaries, yet the department failed to repair the dilapidated and derelict schools and replace mud schools, but returned a whopping 530 million back to Treasury. The Eastern Cape is South Africa's worst performing provincial department, home to the lowest matric pass rate. Honorable members, bazali wethu, bantakwethu, in the past 5 years, the Eastern Cape Department had to be dragged to court to force it to supply learning and teaching resources for the children in our public schools. Several education endeavors were held by the province, yet the department is failing our children. The question is, why? All of this, ladies and gentlemen, this morning, it's clear that it is sufficient evidence that the education department in this province, my home province, is on a downward spiral. This downward spiral is characterized by eroding culture of teaching and learning, low staff morale, and the failure to provide the necessary resources. And finally, these schools have therefore become dysfunctional. This, ladies and gentlemen, is a fact. We have seen it this week. We have visited the schools. The people have spoken during the public hearings. They raised frustrations. Now the question is, for how long must learners suffer? For how long must learners suffer at the hands of those inefficient bureaucrats that we have in this province? Honorable members, education is the only ticket out of poverty for our children. The truth of the causes of these failures by the Department of Education in this province are the following. I'll quickly remind you and spell them out for you this morning. There is a lack of political will to ensure that this department delivers. This is evidenced by the following. 1, failure to inspect and monitor our schools. The appointment of incompetent political heads and senior managers in the Department of Education. Inefficiency and maladministration. And even the resolutions that are taken in the endeavors, those resolutions are never followed up. And therefore it becomes a futile exercise. Honorable members, the Democratic Alliance understands the importance of getting the education of our children right in this province. We have where we govern, delivered, and therefore it is important.
Order, Chair.
Yes, may I take a point?
Chair, umhlekazi angakhwazi kakhulu siyalimala ezindlebeni man akathathe kakuhle.
That's not a point of order. Continue, honorable member.
Ladies and gentlemen, as the Democratic Alliance, the education of our children, even in the Eastern Cape matters. We have a traceable track record where we govern. Where we govern, the recent matric results 2015, in all districts, not even one district performed under 80%. That should tell you how serious we value this matter. In conclusion, Deputy Chairperson, this week for all of us has been a difficult week.
Order.
So much has been said.
Order.
Is that a point of order?
Yes, Chair.
Okay.
Can the honorable member indicate to this House to which school did he go to? In which province did he learn? How were the teachers?
That is a
in that
question.
school?
That is a question. Is the member prepared to take a question?
In conclusion, Deputy Chair and honorable members, this week has been a difficult week for all of us. So much has been said and done, and these are the issues that seek to racially divide us. But true to the values of our legends in this province, Tatu Mandela, Oliver Tambo, and many others that have fought for a racial inclusive country, a country that is non-racial. So we want to say to all those who committed the wrongs during this week, those people are nothing else but idiots, and those people are nothing else but criminals. And they must be dealt as such. And ladies and gentlemen, as the Democratic Alliance, as I conclude, this is what we promise, true to our value, to our values of freedom, fairness, and opportunity for our children. I thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Honorable Samka. Just before that, Honorable Samka, may I recognize you, Honorable Member?
Honorable Chair, I want you to make a ruling in terms of offensive and unbecoming language. You can't refer to officials and us as idiots. That's an unbecoming language.
I didn't pick that one up. May you then therefore allow me to consult. Who did that?
Kwevu, Chair. The last speaker, Makwevu.
May you allow me rather to consult and then make a ruling on that, because I didn't pick it up. All right, Honorable Samka, can you continue the debate?
Enkosi Sekela Sihlalo walendlu. Mandizubulisele umongameli weRepublic yoMzantsi Afrika. Undivumele Sekela Sihlalo walendlu ndithi ingqanga nentsiba zayo. Sekela Sihlalo kuluvuyo nochulumanco kum ukuma phambi kwalendlu kweliphondo leMpuma Koloni. Ekhaya ndizoxoxa ngemeko yezemfundo. Ndiyazinga kakhulu ke ngeliphondo kuba thina sivelise inkokheli eziphume izandla kuzwelonke. Ingade iMpuma Koloni ibe ngunumber last kwi-results, kodwa okokuba ungakhe ujonge into kokuba xa sithetha ngale nto kuthiwa equality, abantu abaphume apha zinkula buchopho. Sekela Sihlalo, ndivumele kwakhona xa ndisithi namhlanje xa sithetha si-African National Congress sithi imfundo isisona sixhobo esibalulekileyo, ilifa elingenawutyiwa nundu, ilifa elingenawutyiwa nangumhlwa. Singurhulumente kaKhongolose sithi gqolo ukunikezela imfundo esemgangathweni ophezulu kubo bonke abantwana abaselungelweni lokuhamba isikolo simahla. Xa ndisithi simahla ke ndithetha ukuthi zonke izinto ezinjengeencwadi zokubhala nokufunda urhulumente uyazibhatalela ukuze bonke abantwana babe noxanduva lwabo lokokuba baqinisekise into yoba bafumana iincwadi zabo. Ndithanda ukugxininisa ekuthini nanjengoko abantwana benelungelo lokufumana imfundo esemgangathweni, ikwaluxanduva lwabo kananjalo ukuzimisela bafunde kangangoko ukuze baqaqambise ikamva labo. Sekela Sihlalo, urhulumente we-African National Congress ukhethe imfundo njengesikhokelo esiphambile ngaphezu kwayo yonke imiba. Kweso sikhokelo sipasise imithetho ile i-no-fee schools, i-learner teacher support material, i-scholar transport,
school nutrition, ne-basic services. Konke oku ukuzama
On a point of order, Chair.
utitshala abe phambi
Honorable
komntwana.
Samka, may I take
Exesha
the, Honorable
On a
Samka?
point of order, Chair.
Honorable Samka?
On a point of order.
Yes, can I take the order?
Ke a leboga Modula Stilo. Modula Stilo ke ema ka
No, members of the public, you were warned from the beginning that this is a formal sitting of the House. This is a formal sitting of the House. And as yancela, ninga participate nani. Amamlungu laba ngithi benile le viki le yonke le ben participate anithetha ama members bebesithulele nje benimamele. Manje ixesha lenu ukuthi nimamele ama member. Please. Yes, Honorable Mokwe.
Modula Stilo ke ema ka point ya gore se bui se se fo podium seo. Ga se bui nnete ka gore province ya Bokone Botlhaba.
No, Honorable Member, you are debating now.
No, but you must
You are
listen to the
debating.
point of order.
No.
The member is misleading the House.
By
It's
saying
not
what?
true that the Department of Education is allocating transport, food,
Honorable
and proper
member,
education
can you take your
material.
seat?
That
Can you
is not
take your
true.
seat?
She
Can you
must
take-
withdraw.
can you
She's
take your
misleading
seat?
the House.
Honorable member,
She's
can you
misleading the
take your
House.
seat?
Thank you.
Can you take your seat? Honorable members, there's a difference between a point of order and a point of debate. Because the minute you rise and negate what a member is saying, then you are debating with the member. You are on the speaker's list. You are on the speaker's list.
Chair, the rules of the House says if a member is misleading the House, he or she must be called out in order.
Honorable
So
member,
that's what I'm doing.
that is
That
not-
member is misleading the House. It's
Me-
not true that
me-
the Department of
Honorable
Education
Mokwele,
is
Honorable
providing
Mokwele, can you
transport.
take your seat?
I was doing
Can you
my
take your seat?
oversight here.
Can you take your
I
seat,
saw it.
Honorable Mokwele? That is not a point of order, and I'm not carrying that point. Can you continue, Honorable Samka?
Enkosi Sekela Sihlalo. Kukulo rhulumente we-ANC kuphela apho kwipopulation ye-12 million yabantwana abalungele ukufunda bangaphezu kwe-90% abasezikolweni. La manani angaphezu kwawo onke amazwe aphuhlayo. Kwakhona Sekela Sihlalo apha eBuffalo City baku-99% abantwana ababhalisileyo nabasezikolweni. Isiphatha kakubi ke si-ANC imeko yokushokoxeka kwezi-special schools kweli phondo. Nalapho kusekho abantwana abakwi-7.1% abangafundiyo. Kwakhona inkcitho kwezemfundo inyuke kakhulu xa uthelekisa nexesha lengcinezelo. Ngo-1994 isebe lezemfundo lichithe i-31.8 billion kwezemfundo. Ngo-2006 le mali yanyuka ukuya kutsho ku-92.1 billion. Leyo i-17.8% yenkcitho karhulumente iphelele. Kulo nyaka mali Sekela Sihlalo ka-2016-17 isebe lezemfundo kwiMpuma Koloni labelwe i-31 billion ngaphezu kwawo onke amasebe. Oko kubonakalisa ukuzimisela kwethu ukuphuhlisa ezemfundo. Xa siqwalasela iBuffalo City njengomasipala ombaxa, i-National Council of Provinces ikhe yahambela izikolo ezithile kule ngingqi esezidolophini nakwezo zisezilalini. Loo nto ibonakalisa indlela urhulumente owaye bacalucalula ngayo abantu bakuthi. Nesimo ke singqina olo calucalulo kunamhlanje nje kuba izikolo zabantu abamhlophe zohlukile kwezo. Umzekelo eMdantsane nezinye ingingqi ezihlala abantu abantsundu. Kubalulekile ke ukuba singurhulumente sisebenzisane sithathe nezigqibo ezingqongqo ukuqinisekisa ukulungisa ingxaki elisebe lemfundo elijongene nazo. xa besijikeleza siyindlu yamaphondo phakathi kwengxaki esidibene nazo sekela sihlalo ukunqongophala kwamagumbi okufundisela izikolo esele zikwimeko ezingaginyisi mathe njengoko setshilo usihlalo walendlu izindlu zangasese ezikwimeko embi ukushokoxeka nokungabikho ngethuba kwencwadi ezikolweni ukungabikho konogada ezikolweni into leyo ebeka ubomi babantwana neetitshala emngciphekweni kwizigilamkhuba nezikrelemnqa nephinda ibangele izikolo zethu ziqhekezwe. I-National Council of Province ke sekela sihlalo walendlu mayincedisane neliphondo leMpuma Koloni ithethathethane neParliamentary konyuswe ibudget kumaphondo ahlelelekileyo njengeliphondo lethu kuvulwe amaziko okuqeqesha iititshala nanjengoko enqongophele kwakhona kungumthetho ukuba bonke abantwana abafanele ukuthuthwa kuya ezikolweni bathuthwe okanye benzelwe indawo zokuhlala kufutshane nezikolo ezo bafunda kuzo. I-7.7% yabafundi bayaxhamla kwiskola transport kodwa siyazi ukuba kusekho abo bangekaxhamli ukuzama ke ukuphendula le ibixelwa apha ngaba bangaphulaphuliyo kakuhle ngendlebe. Indlu yengwevu izimisele ekubeni ithethathethane nozwelonke ekubeni konyuswe imali kwiskola transport ukuthi gqolo kwesebe lezemfundo lisebenzisana inkqubo yosasazo zititshala lento ke amakhumtsha ibiza ngokokuba yi-post provisioning norms oko ke
Honorable Samuka, your time is expired, Mama.
iphelile.
Iphelile. Honorable Chabangu, can you continue the debate?
Chairperson, chiefs, members of NCOP, members of legislatures, officials, the House at large. Honorable Chairperson, the manner in which this province and the country have been run is an absolute travesty. We in the EFF are disappointed in the manner in which the province and South Africa as a whole is being governed. The education of a black child here is meaningless and treated with contempt by the inept government. For instance,
Is that a point
for an
of order,
example-
Honorable Member? Can you take your seat, Honorable Member? May I hear?
Thank you, Chairperson. Can the Speaker take a question?
Are you prepared to take a question?
In my office, Parliament.
No, he's not prepared to take a question.
The education of a black child here is meaningless and treated with contempt by the inept government. For an example, in Tabankulu municipality, in Damba High School, the school does not have access to basic things such as water, toilet, books, desk, chalks, to mention but a few. And let us not even mention the structure of the building. That is a shambles to say the least. And yet, education is a key to success. This sad state of affairs is a reflection of a situation in the country of the situation in the country as a whole, leading to gross unhappiness among our people. This is especially hitting the poorest of the poor. Let us make that the black poorest of the poor. And when our people rise up to protest the poor service delivery and fees must fall, you not only offer feeble excuses, but you bring down your merciless security forces upon our innocent and vulnerable poor. Your insolence and arrogance knows no bounds. It is actually shocking that while the Minister Melusi Gigaba is busy looting the money for his mistress and his fancy suit, learners at Alfred Nzoma Tatiele do not have birth certificates or identity documents that denies them the opportunity to retrieve their grade 12 matric certificates. The education and the well-being of our black children are of no concern to this self-centered, factionalist ANC government. Our little children at the age of 1 to 4 years do not have access to decent sanitation, water, and proper shelter. While the chickens and cattle of your number one, Zuma, has crores worth millions. Clearly, the lives of animals
Is
mean
that a point
more
of
to
order,
this
honorable
ANC
member?
government
Honorable Chair,
than the lives of our
can you just take
people.
your seat, honorable?
Chair, I rise on a point of order. The honorable member is referring to the President of South Africa as Mr. Zuma. This is the President of South Africa, elected by the people of this country. He must withdraw that.
In terms of the last ruling that was made in the House, it was ruled that it may not be unparliamentary to refer to the President as Mr. Zuma. Can you continue, honorable member?
The inconsistencies in the service in the crashes in this area show no vision in this government planning. This should not take away our appreciation for the efforts made by the dedicated people working in these difficult conditions. The EFF will ensure that the government builds a reasonable crash in every ward in this country to ensure easy accessibility for the communities, also to enable sound foundation phase development of our children, our future leaders. Government is encouraged to take these crashes under its direct administration. This would not only create worthy employment, but also formalize the opportunity structures the service. We must also point out that the issue of centralization of procurement and other administrative responsibilities in education to a provincial level is leading to massive poor service delivery and compromising the education of our young on a massive scale, as the chairperson has alluded to. This is not just working, and the government needs to intervene as a matter of emergency and rationalize the service accordingly. There is nothing more disgusting, chairperson, cheaper, and nothing more painful to the people of our country than corrupt politicians who exploit the poorest of the poor to enrich themselves. For an example, Makadia project in Neha, a very good project, but the chairperson, who is a former MK, owns 49% as an individual. On top of that, he made the chief, the poor chief, to sign a lease for the land for 8 years. An apartheid era practice, what a shame, what is disgrace. Who exactly is behind such disgusting practices? If you are not politically connected in the Eastern Cape province, then you'll get no assistance from any government.
Honorable member, your time has expired.
A glorified form of cat.
Honorable member, your time has expired.
Amanda.
Honorable Mbalo, can you continue with the debate?
Motlatsa modula stulo ntumelle ke dumedise mo presidente wa naha e le mo presidente Zuma ke dumedise lo ananela o sihlalo we NCOP ume Thandi Modise ne speaker sa se Eastern Cape says esikhona ngapha, all honorable members phuma ku different provinces, ama executive mayors, labantu base Buffalo City molweni. Deputy Chair, let me not be counted amongst those who will turn your session to be a complaint session without no concrete proposal. Chair of the session, it is important for me just to indicate the following: that the advancement of our people requires that we do things differently to take advantage of the current momentum towards 2063. Honorable President, in order for us to achieve the African Union's vision of an integrated, prosperous and peaceful Africa, driven by its own citizens and representing a dynamic force in the global arena, significantly more action is still required on a number of fronts. Quality education and radical economic advancement of our people cannot be put in abeyance. Chairperson, Agenda 2063 provides the roadmap. It is the approach as to how the continent should effectively learn from the lessons of the past, build on the progress currently underway, and strategically exploit all possible opportunities available in the immediate and medium term, so as to ensure positive socio-economic transformation within the next 47 years. In the main, Agenda 2063 emphasizes the importance of success in rekindling the passion for Pan-Africanism, a sense of unity, self-reliance, integration and solidarity. That was a highlight of the slums of the 20th century. Agenda 2063 has 7 objectives that Africa aspires to achieve, and history demands that we succeed. One of these 7 aspirations is a prosperous Africa based on inclusive and sustainable development. As a country, therefore, Honorable Chair, we are determined to eradicate poverty and build shared prosperity through social and economic transformation. We also aspire that by 2063, we shall be a prosperous continent with the means and resources to drive our own development with sustainable and long-term stewardship of our own resources. Mzansi Africa is a country rich with both natural and mineral resources. It will therefore be a mockery of ourselves to expect political democracy to survive and flourish if the masses of our people remain in poverty without land or tangible prospects for a better life. Chair, without proper education and, of course, meritorious access to institutions of higher learning, our country and continent cannot realize economic advancements. Kungoko, singuluphondo lase-Free State, we are spending a whopping 105 million rands on bursaries on students who are studying scarce skills courses like medicine, science, technology, and innovation in other countries. We are proud to declare that this far, we have 905 students placed in 7 countries. Namely, in Germany, we spend about 153,000 rands per child. In Cuba, is 252,000 rand. In China, is 162,000 rands. In Turkey, 209,000 rands. In Russia, is 100 rand, 53,000 rands. In Belarus, is 132,000 rands. Lastly, in India, we are spending almost 2,000 and 7,000 rands per child in the current financial year. That is the government at work, Mongameli. Chairperson, upon completion of their studies, these students will then be employed and be absorbed by government and also by the private sector. And in pursuit of the 2014 ANC manifesto, which states that the TVET college sector will be expanded with greater support for the needs of the student, and compulsory community service for all graduates will be introduced. It is therefore against this background that, as a Free State provincial government has placed it as a compulsory measure that the students of completion of their studies, they ought to come back and work in remote areas where their services are needed the most. This is in line, once more, on advancing the AU aspirations of ensuring that African people have a high standard of living, quality of life, sound health, and well-being, irrespective of their area of origin. Chairperson, the National Student Financial Aid Scheme, which was established in 1999, and since then its growth has been phenomenal and has assisted close to 1.4 million students in total. Well, I'm not claiming this, Chair, but it's according to 20-year review, South Africa 1994 to 2014 document. A number out of this particular student aid.
On what point are you rising, Honourable Member?
Thank you, Honourable Chair. Member must sit.
Can you speak to your mic, please?
Thank you. I would like to know whether the member will take a question.
Are you prepared to take a question, Honourable Member?
Can I take it on the 32nd of this month, Chair?
No, he's not prepared to take a question.
Running away.
The number of NFSAS beneficiaries increased from 41,600 in 1996 to 77,000 in 2008, and about 430,000 in 2014. Between 1999 and 2008, the funds managed by NFSAS grew from 441 million to 2.4 billion. In the last 5 years, the amount further increased by more than 300% to more than 9 billion. The country underpinned by good governance, democracy, respect for human rights, justice, and the rule of law can only be realized through the programs such as the Free State Growth and Development Strategy. Honorable Chair, lest we be apologetic when we engage in any program that is aimed at people-driven development, relying on the potential of African people, especially its women and youth, in caring for our children. Therefore, strategic investment in our own people remains the core of our government. Attacking poverty...
Honourable Member, your time has expired.
Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you. Honourable Gaila.
I will always respect your ruling.
Honourable Chairperson, thank you for this opportunity. Education is a social mobilization tool that is able to address socio-economic conditioning of the past. Education breaks the cycle of poverty in homes where there is no hope. Therefore, it is a weapon available to fight poverty. However, school infrastructure must be attended urgently. In fact, the mud schools must fall. In Ikonga Secondary School, hardly 10 kilometers from the education head office in Buffalo City, must have proper classroom and related facilities. They are currently writing grade 12 in cramped garage. The chronic situation in Kainse Senior Secondary School in Libote, where there is almost no space to move in its grade 12 classroom due to overcrowding, must come to an end. Esetu Primary School in Umtata, where teachers are forced to use toilets as a staff room, and pupils are taught in tent that was used by the former contractor. The better performing Gangolwandle Secondary School, Ekhoga Pagoti, where pupils sit outside in scorching sun and cold in windy conditions because there are no classrooms. In Sandiswa Primary School in East London, where pupils and staff are forced to use old decaying toilets to attend classes. For example, these are few examples, Chairperson. Honorable Chairperson, there is a saying that when you find yourself in a hole, the best thing you can do is to stop digging, because continuing digging will lead to the point where you bury yourself. I make this opposition because part of the contributing factor are the dismal failure of education system policy. This policy says that learners cannot repeat standard twice, and therefore she or he must move to another level. The sad part about the implementation of this policy is no supporting system. These learners are treated like any other learner during the course of the year. Yet UDEM suggested, amongst other, a therapist be involved in a school with special focus on learners who are academically challenged. Secondly, there must be a strong collaboration between Department of Sports and Education to increase the mass of participation, and therefore those who cannot academically survive are able to go through sport. Chairperson, we visited some of the health centers. One of them was in Amaluti. That health center, Chairperson, has got no equipment, no facilities. There are no structures. It's got committed staff. It's got a doctor or kugleyo. The condition is as very bad. There are 3,000 patients who are in that health facility. So we urge the department to assist those people. Education, Chairperson. Last week, people died in Alfonso, where we come from. About 28 people died. Now, in Ngagele province, safety. Ako traffic, there are way bridges. So vehicle truck is overloaded. Zibulala abantu truck because there's no leadership. Sithetha nenkulu umbuso yale province ngokubeka abantu abaright bayaphela abantu who arrive alive akekho ngoDecember qha kuphela faka abantu abacompetent inkosi.
Thank you very much. Honorable Sithole, can you continue with the debate?
Thank you, Honorable Deputy Chair. Ngizibongele ukuba ungiphelele ithuba. Ngiyathanda ukuba ngibingelele usihlalo we-National Council of Provinces, umama uModise. Ngibingelele kumangameli wezwe, ubaba uJG Zuma. Ngibingelele kumalungu wonke ahloniphekile akhona lapha ngaphakathi, amakhosi esinawo nezinduna, nabaholi bonke abakhona bezinhla ezahlukeneyo, umphakathi wonke okhona lapha endlini. Ngiyawubingelela egameni lesifundazwe saKwaZulu Natal. Ngimi lapha ngithanda ukuqala ngokuba sibeke isixoliso esivela kuNdunankulu wesifundazwe ubaba uTW Mchunu ongakwazanga ukuba azoba kanye nathi lapha. Kungenxa yezimo abengekakwazi ukuba aziyekelele ebeziphuthuma. Eminyakeni yonke i-National Council of Provinces yenza uhlelo lokuba ihambele ezifundazweni ithathe iParliamente noma isishayamthetho esikhulu isizise kubantu kuba izoletha ukuthi yenzani iphinde yizwe nokuthi abantu bafisa ukuthi kwenzakeni naloko kuhle naloko kungenzekile kahle. Sithi ke lolu hlelo olwenziwa i-NCOP njengokwaZulu Natal silushayela kakhulu ihlombe ngoba liyasilekelela ngesikhathi niza nizobheka nani ukuthi emsebenzini esiwenzayo ngokulawulwa inkulumo esuka ibekwa minyaka yonke umongameli wezwe bese sibheka ukuthi ngakube siyazenza lezo zinto. Kuyasilekelela kakhulu kuba sibone ukuthi lo msebenzi esiwenzayo uyawenza yini umahluko ebantwini bakithi. Njengabantu abakhethiwe bekhethwa ngabantu kuye kubaleke njalo kuba sibuyele kubo siyobuza sibazise futhi nezinto esingakwazi ukuzenza ngenxa ke yalolu hlelo nathi sithatha kanjalo ukuthi kufanele sibuyele emuva sibabuza abantu silalele futhi sichaze lapho singakwazi khona ukwenza khona. Yingakho ke ngoba lokhu siyaqonda kahle kamhlophe ukuthi uma singakwenzi lokhu kuyodala ukuba sibone abantu bakithi begcwele izinkalo bekhalaza ngokuthi izidingo nensizakalo zabo azifinyelele kubona bese bephumela ezinkalweni bekhalaza. Honorable members, as guided by the theme of this sitting, follow up on our commitments to deliver quality education and ensuring economic advancement of our people. As KZN government, we have taken the position that good quality education has to be relevant to the needs of our economy. We say our education system should be judged by the extent to which it makes individual people self-sufficient and able to maintain sustainable livelihood on leaving school, irrespective of the level attained. We understand that quality education depends on the linkage between education and variety of other social and economic outcomes, such as health and social stability. Imfundo esezingeni eliphezulu siyithatha njengemfundo ebalulekile ngoba izofanele ukuba ihlanganyele nokuthi kwenziwe ezinye zezinto ezizoyenza ukuba ibonakale ukuthi isezingeni elifanele. Izinto ke ezincike ekutheni sikwenze lokho kube impumelelo izinto ezifana nokuba sizakhe izikole ezizoba khona zibe sezingeni futhi elifanelekile. Ziphinde futhi sibe nazo izidingo ezifanelekile njengokuba kube khona amanzi, kube khona nezingalazinda zokuba kube khona ukukhanyisa, kube khona nemigwaqo, kube khona nezempilo ezisezingeni elilingene nelifanelekile ukuba umntwana abone ukuthi ufunda endaweni ephephile. Over the past few months, the whole Provincial Executive Council has been visiting schools in various parts of our province to assess the school functionality. We have done that through our program, which is called Operation Sukumasake, which in every second Wednesday of the month, we visit different districts to assess whether the Operation Sukumasake is functioning and people are getting the services that they deserve. We're doing that noting and also encouraged by the fact that if we don't do that and we ask people to go long miles to come and ask for assistance in towns, it will be a futile exercise because those areas won't be developed. Sisho ukuthi ke njengokwaZulu Natal i-Executive Council iyaphuma ihambe iyobheka. Sithe masibheka sathola ukuthi zikhona ezinye izinto ezinhle ezenzekile kwezinye izikole. Kukhona futhi nokunye okungenzekile kahle. Futhi naloko sangagcina ngokusho njalo. Sase siqhubeka sithi ke sizoyilungisa zonke lezo zinto esizibonile ezingenzile kahle. Kakhulukazi ke siyafuna ukusho ukuthi ke siyibekile imali eceleni yokuba sakhe ingqalasizinda nezizinda zokufundela imali engu-2.5 billion ekuyiyona esilekelela ukwenza lokho ikakhulukazi ke endaweni ezingaphandle kwasemadolobheni uhlobo ke nezinga lezikole esizakhayo KwaZulu-Natal yilezo okungathi noma umntwana iphuma kuyiphi indawo asibone zifanelekile siphindile ke futhi ke sabeka imali yokuthi siyesakhe izikole ezu-27 kulezi izikole khona ezakhiwa kabusha iqalwe phansi kukhona futhi ezilungiswayo siyafuna nje ukusho mongameli nosihlalo wendlu ukuthi sithe sisephezulu lohlelo kwafika isichotho ezinye zezikole bese sizilungisile zaphindela emuva ngenxa yalokho kodwa lokho akusho ukuthi amandla aphelile siyaqhubeka sinezikole singazigagula nje esizakhayo kabusha izikole ezifana neLovu High School iNanda Special School iLames Maths and Science Academy eThekwini Metro eMadungeni High School Xoloxolo Primary School in Herigwala Cosmo Primary in Umgungundlovu and Umlokotha in Zululand those are the schools ke esizakhayo honorable members as a province we have set ourselves the following targets since our province has dropped in the matric result in 2015 we have set our targets to improve the overall pass of the province this year 2016 at least by 10%. We have to improve the pass percentage in all 12 districts as other districts were very low having schools that were having 30% pass rates in 2015. We have also increased the number of passes in key and large gateway subjects. In order to achieve our targets, we have made an unannounced school visit as part of our promoting the culture of learning. The Department of Education has put also a clear program.
Honorable MEC, your time has expired. Yabonga.
Thank you.
We welcome the Deputy Chairperson of Salga, Councillor Peters.
Honorable Chairperson of the NCOP, His Excellency President Jacob Zuma, Honorable Deputy Chairperson of the NCOP, Honorable Premiers, Honorable Speakers of the Provincial Legislatures, Honorable Ministers, Honorable Members, Mayors, Speakers, and Councillors present, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Honorable Chair, we thank the President as Salga of this country for his continued support for improving the lives of all its people through the commitment on delivering quality education from foundation phase all the way through to higher education and training and beyond. Also, Honorable Chair, we thank you for the support to address the House on this timely and critical matter facing us as a nation. Chair, we cannot decide for people where they choose to live. However, the access to opportunity in cities, towns, and rural areas across the country drives migration and where people decide to live. For the poor, access to land and services is a critical determiner of where in cities and towns they live. This choice determines the kind of head start in life our children will get. It also determines the social and physical environment which will affect their future, and unfortunately, to a large extent, it will determine the quality of education they have access to. It is this inequality we must fight collectively, and which I believe local government has a contribution to make in our unequal society. It has been reported that South Africa has the highest private returns to tertiary education in the world. What does this mean? Well, it means that the system works for some. It also means that our education system serves a segment of the population and certain sectors of the economy. For this to change, it needs to change at the bottom from the basic and further education level. As a country, we have made inroads in providing much greater access to the education system with fee exemptions and no-fee schools. Similarly, we have seen the expansion of early childhood development centers across the country, a function local government has been instrumental in as well. But we need greater emphasis on the quality of education at the general education and training at the GT phase. The quality of the infrastructure, the teachers and the curriculum must offer a child choices for his or her future. Equitable access to quality education in the general education and training phase is the pivot which should offer our children the choices they need to live fulfilled lives and remain competitive in the economy. It must also offer our economy the ability to adapt and be competitive. The economy, Chair, is shifting. Some would say it has irrevocably shifted from the primary and secondary sectors to the tertiary sector. Where will it be competitive in the future? Therefore, we must develop the basic skills that all South Africans need to survive an uncertain future. This especially in the information age. A diverse and competitive future is made up of more than university graduates. It also comprises highly skilled artisans and creatives in every sector, in every region in this country. This quality and diversity must be accessible throughout the country. We need an education system to serve people and the economy where people are and what the economy needs, especially taking into account sub-national economic needs and specificities. Honorable Chair, we need a system which makes the best of each of our children's capabilities within a competitive economy, a system which gives us all a future and one which provides for our collective future. Honorable members of the House, we all have a responsibility towards delivering on our commitment as spheres of government, national, provincial, and local government. In particular, local government has a specific role to ensure that water and sanitation services are provided reliably and to affordable specifications, that roads can travel along safely, that no schooling is delayed by shortcomings in electricity reticulation. Local government needs to plan adequately and implement its duty to the benefit of the learners and students of South Africa. However, local government is also well placed to integrate planning and coordinate development in local space. We urge greater cooperation and planning, especially at a regional scale, towards more competitive economies and more equitable access to both quality and diversity of education opportunities. We believe, Chair, that as local government, it is our duty to promote social and economic development, to ensure that adequate social services are planned for the communities within our jurisdiction. That is, if we collaborate, we are well placed to indicate where the needs are and can facilitate for the planning and supply of adequate education and the related services. But we also believe that we should be able to hold those responsible for delivering education services to account, as it is a service which affects the very fabric of society and our local communities. For this reason, we call for greater cooperative planning and accountability mechanisms to be put in place to better and more equitably serve local communities. In closing, Honorable Chairperson, SALGA supports the Honorable President as head of state and government as he charges the country with a renewed commitment to quality education, which will provide us all with a future. I thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. The MEC, Treasury, Limpopo, Honorable Tuli.
Honourable Chairperson of this NCOP, His Excellency, Honourable President of our country, Mr. Jacob Zuma, Honourable Ministers and Deputy Ministers, Chairperson and Deputy Chairperson of the National Council of Provinces, Premiers and MSCs here present, Members of Parliament and the National Council of Provinces, members of the provincial legislatures, distinguished guests and ladies and gentlemen. Limpopo is honoured by this special opportunity to share with esteemed members of the NCOP and the nation at large about the progress that is taking place in our part of the country. Ours is indeed about working together to deliver on the commitment to better the lives of our people. The greatest weapon we have on our side is the unwavering support of our people. This is the support which we never take for granted. The ever-present support of our people is a fuel that powers our pace to deliver on the shared commitment of a better life for all. Our collective experience has proved that the task of creating a better life for all our citizens is not an easy one. However, it is a task that we have vowed never to betray. We have, over the past 21 years of our freedom and democracy, worked harder to perfect the art of taking services to the people in order to help realize the dream of a better life for all. We continue to do our work under the very hostile conditions, mostly imposed upon us from our ugly past. Compounding this is the reality of limitation of resources. Honourable President, we have been advised that the theme for this interactive session with our people is following up on our commitment to deliver quality education and ensure economic advancement of our people. I will indeed say a few words on behalf of Limpopo in line with this theme. However, I understand that it is of national interest that I share with you developments relating to the dust that had characterized our province in the past few years. Honourable members would indeed be interested to know if the financial mismanagement that were synonymous with Limpopo are being addressed. Over the past 3 years, the provincial administration has done fairly well to rescue the province from a total collapse. Noting the progress that we have made, the AG said on Wednesday, and I quote, Limpopo registered a 26% improvement over the past 3 years. He went further to acknowledge that the Section 100B intervention of the past few years has been useful in stemming the tide of mismanagement in our province. However, the Auditor General noted the need for our province to work harder in order to sustain what he called the huge improvements made during the 2014-2015 financial year. Part of the matters emphasized by the AG relating to our audit outcomes was the issue of high vacancy rate at the strategic leadership level. In this regard, I'm able to report that we have already covered much ground. 2 months ago, we appointed the 4 accounting officers in the Departments of Health, Education, Roads and Public Infrastructure, and Social Development. And on Wednesday, as the AG was releasing his report, we were appointing the accounting officer for the Department of Cooperative Governments, Human Settlements and Traditional Affairs. We are also in the process to finalize the appointment of the accounting officer for the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture, and in about 2 weeks' time, we would have finalized the appointment of the Director General of the province. These appointments will go a long way in assessing and assisting to address some of the concerns raised by the Auditor General. We are also able to report that there has been much improvement in the area of consequence management. Action has been taken against poor performance, and this has led to officials bearing consequences for poor performance and transgressions. Honourable members, we have indeed put all the energy and attention to ensure that the province radically cuts fruitless and wasteful expenditure so that resources can be directed to important areas such as education, health, and economic development. There is no doubt that we are on track towards fulfilling the dream of our forebears of ensuring that the doors of learning and culture shall be open to all. In 2015, Limpopo registered an unprecedented enrollment of 101,575 sitting for grade 12 examinations, an increase of 39.2% from 2014. The figures have increased this year. This is a massive achievement, particularly for an under-resourced province as ours. This year, we have put most of our attention and resources in the 2 underperforming districts, namely Sekhukhune and Waterberg. Special attention has also been given to Vuani area, following the much publicized disruption of learning following the redetermination of municipal boundaries. I can assure honourable members that Vuani and the rest of Vembe region will not disappoint. You can be rest assured that, come the announcement of the grade 10-12 results, the Minister of Education will be shaking hands with learners from that area. Mr. President, the creation of a conducive environment for learning and teaching is also high on the agenda of our government. To that end, we have prioritised addressing such critical issues as inappropriate school infrastructure, the repairs of storm-damaged schools, the provision of additional classrooms to areas experiencing growth, and the provisioning of water and sanitation at all our schools. Over the past 3 years, we have spent 2.9 billion rand on school infrastructure to address the areas I've already mentioned, and we have also budgeted 2.4 billion rand over the next 3 years to continue with this infrastructure delivery work on our schools. On higher education, I'm proud to announce that the idea of a medical school in Limpopo is no longer just a pipe dream. It is a reality. The medical school, which is at the University of Limpopo, admitted its first group of 60 students at the beginning of this year. As the provincial government, we have since offered these students full bursaries to the tune of 10 million rand for their studies. Honourable Chairperson, consistent with the National Development Plan, the year 2014 saw us in Limpopo convening an all-inclusive Provincial Development Summit to discuss and adopt the Limpopo Development Plan. The plan clearly defines and provides a framework for economic growth and development agenda of our province. Most importantly, it reflects our shared vision and strategic imperatives towards poverty reduction, elimination of social inequality, and the creation of sustainable jobs in our province. It is in this context that about 2 weeks ago, we convened the Provincial Economic Summit to give more meaning to the Limpopo Development Plan. We have anchored the Limpopo Development Plan around mining, agriculture and tourism as strategic economic growth points and competitive advantages of our province. The resolution of the summit I'm talking about are going to guide us on the route to industrialize through mineral beneficiation, development of agro-processing cluster, development of viable tourism offerings and logistics. We can confirm that there are already a significant number of economic projects and infrastructure investments that are being implemented in various regions of our province currently. They include the Presidential Strategic Infrastructure Program, targeting both Waterberg and Sekekuni district municipalities, and the envisaged special economic zones earmarked for implementation in Greater Dubatse and the Messina local municipality. In this regard, Honourable President, we would like to take this opportunity to thank the Cabinet for positively considering our application for Messina to become a special economic zone. It will really go a long way towards developing the economy of our country in that part of the land. Nevertheless, we would like to implore you, Mr. President, to once again persuade the Cabinet to also consider Tubatse as an SEZ. Tubatse municipality has a huge economic potential to become the future platinum province production hub of our country. We continue to work in partnership with our social partners to place Limpopo on a high economic development trajectory.
As you round up.
Once again, I thank you very much for the privilege to speak to our people through this platform of the NCOP. I thank you.
Thank you, sir. The MEC for Economic Development, Treasury Finance from the Northwest, Honorable Nelson.
Honorable Chairperson of the NCOP, His Excellency the President of our country, Honorable MECs, Honorable members of the NCOP, mayors, traditional leaders, fellow South Africans, Dumelang Goeiemôre. Honorable Chairperson, 22 years into our democracy has afforded our government the opportunity to gain practical exposure of the education challenges faced by many learners, and particular African learners coming from poor households. Over the very same period, we have managed to increase the number of African students passing matric from 201,971 in 1994 to 369,903 in 2015. Which is a huge achievement that can be recorded over such a short period of time. However, we still need to establish What happens to those students who drop out? And we need to address this matter. Our government has increased access to universities for African students, and currently African students constitute approximately 70% of student population compared to the 47% in 1994. Honourable Chairperson, just a few ways in which government has demonstrated serious commitment to ensuring the delivery of quality education includes the creation of learning incentives such as providing free scholarship transport, feeding schemes, free learning material and financial support to those who have worked hard to gain access to institutions of higher learning. Bursaries are also provided to those studying to become educators in mathematics, science and technology. Financial support is also given to those who enroll in TVET colleges to become artisans and technicians. Mr. President, with regard to economic advancement, the fifth administration of Bokoni Bopirima has sought to implement the NDP through rebranding, repositioning and renewal approach, anchored on a new approach of 5 concretes, namely ACT, which is agriculture, culture and tourism, and mining as tributaries. VTSD, which is villages, townships and small dorpies. RHR, which is reconciliation, healing and renewal. And Setsukutsani, which is a comprehensive and integrated service delivery campaign. And Samtrek Samwerk, being a call for unity of purpose above racial divisions. To ensure effective and successful implementation of the ACT, in his 2015 State of the Province address, our Honourable Premier pronounced that the province will spend 60% of its 2015-16 procurable budget on villages, townships and small dorpies. By the end of the financial year, provincial departments recorded an expenditure of 1.8 billion or 34% of procurable budget towards VTSD compared to the 1 billion of the previous year. An upward revision to 70% has been made in 2016-17. Since the introduction of this policy pronouncement, progressive improvements have been noticed on provincial government spending in VTSD areas, and as at the end of September we have spent 39.5% or equivalent to 879.5 million on villages, townships and small dorpies. To date, we have been able to support 4,880 suppliers from villages, townships and small dorpy areas, and the number increases on a monthly basis. I can proudly announce that the departments are complying and we have star performance to date, namely economy and enterprise development, social development, as well as culture, arts and traditional affairs. Through interaction with various stakeholders across the province, we have realized the need to develop village plans in each one of the VTSD areas. This approach assisted government in identifying the economic opportunities that can be pursued by SMMEs and cooperatives within the VTSD areas. Mr. President, in order to assist with the development of small businesses within the VTSD areas, the provincial government resolved...
On a point of order, Chair.
Honourable Nelson, please take your seat. What is the point of order?
I would like to ask the member that is willing to take a question that says we are still awaiting for the medal of Botswana.
Just wait.
Please.
Honourable Nelson, are you prepared to take a question?
Honourable Chairperson, I will oblige, but not in my time, afterwards.
She is not willing, ma'am. Please proceed, ma'am.
Thank you, Chairperson. As a proactive measure to prevent harmful competition between small business owners, the provincial government assisted business owners to establish organized VTSD chambers of commerce with representation from the respective communities up to the district level. Through interaction with various communities, We realized that there was a serious market failure regarding agriculture, culture, and tourism, which are sectors with long-term economic development potential. The development of these priority sectors, commonly known as ACT, is one of the main focus areas of the current administration in the medium to long term. In terms of agri-parks, grain silos in one of the villages called Springbok Pan are now operational, and a milling plant construction is underway. To date, 30,000 tons of maize received from Mexico en route to Zimbabwe have been stored in these silos. Furthermore, the process of providing infrastructure for the establishment of abattoirs in 2 villages is underway, and the Maikeng abattoir is at an advanced stage and will be concluded over the MTEF. The province is currently diversifying its economy in order to mitigate against the risks of over-reliance on the mining sector. Agriculture and manufacturing, which jointly contribute about 5% towards the provincial economy, should substantially be supported in order to increase the percentage contribution to the economy of the province. It is the view of our province that all the initiatives we are undertaking be accomplished through the working together in the context of Saamtrek Saamwerk. It is for the very same reason that the 5th administration adopted the Saamtrek Saamwerk philosophy as the provincial policy implementation strategy until 2019 for strengthening our efforts towards the economic advancement of our people. In conclusion, Mr. President, in order to revitalize the economies of the villages, townships, and small dorpies, the province
On a point
has
of order,
embarked-
Chair. Chairperson.
Honorable Nelson, please take your seat. What is the point of order, ma'am?
Ma ke tlhokagala gore o mpehela mo leseding gore sentle tiragalo ya gompieno ga go tla go sekwa dilo tsa bo Northwest mo Eastern Cape na le dikgang tse di kana-kana tse di masisi batho ba bua ka dilo tse dintsi ntse ba sa
Honorable
bolele
Kony.
gore Mospark o bolelwe ke mang. Re go a go diragala eng.
Honorable Kony, that is not a point
Eastern
of
Cape
order.
It's in crisis. Thank you very much.
That is not a point of order. Honorable Nelson, please conclude.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. In conclusion, in order to revitalize the economies of the villages, townships, and small dorpies, the province has embarked on the process of establishing People's Chambers of Commerce as centers of economic development. The process of establishing these chambers is near completion, and the VTSD Economic Lekgotla will be held on the 30th of November to the 2nd of December 2016, with the view of development of comprehensive VTSD industrialization action plans, which are geared towards the revitalization of the VTSD economy.
Honorable
I wish
MEC,
to
your
take
time
this
has
opportunity
expired.
to invite honorable members for the first ever unprecedented
Thank you, ma'am.
economic revolution Lekgotla. I thank you.
Order, members. You are, of course, able to converse without drowning out the speakers. Can I ask for that, please? The next speaker on our list is the Honorable Kaula.
Honorable Chairperson, Honorable President, I note that the observation of the President is different from that of the NCOP Chair on the state of education in the Eastern Cape. In writing Sonnet 94, Shakespeare says the following in the couplet of his sonnet, and I quote, "For sweetest things turn sourest by their deeds, lilies that fester smell far worse than weeds," unquote. This is not far from the story of our country, its leadership and governance after 1994. Whilst in 1994, South Africa provided the country and the world with a promise of a bright future, such hopes are slowly diminishing and fading away for millions of South Africans. The hopes of a prosperous South Africa have been substituted by desperate pleas. These are desperate pleas for caring leadership, for a caring government, for honesty, for integrity, for ubuntu. Unfortunately, the noises that South Africans are making is not audible at the top room. The people of South Africa want to be listened to by the government that they have put into power. People want a government that provides services and development, and not a government that hands the country over to connected friends through business deals. Government must be serious in growing the economy in order to provide job opportunities. Government must create an equilibrium between the previously disadvantaged and the developed communities. Government must stop hiding behind the legacy of apartheid on its failures. 22 years of democracy must have given reasonable time for schools to be made equal, for health services to be made the same, for rural roads to be improved, for clean water to reach all areas, for electricity to reach informal settlements and rural areas, and for education to be made free. Instead, the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer. Government must begin to realize the importance of doing the right thing, not because of money or power, but because doing the right thing is the right thing to do. Even if it means losing a few compromising yet powerful friends, but doing the right thing is always the right thing to do, Mr. President. When Dr. Nelson Mandela took over the reins of the country in 1994, the credit rating of South Africa was very bad at BB, but stable. Through the leadership and economic focus of President Thabo Mbeki, the country's credit rating improved in the early 2000s. President Motlante's short spell saw the ratings improving to A3. But during the current presidency, the country's credit rating has deteriorated to slightly just above junk status. 2 days ago, the Auditor General was presenting his audit reports of 2014-15. Notably in his report is the increase of irregular expenditure from 32 billion to 46 billion in 2014-15. Wasteful expenditure has increased to 1.3 billion. In this report, the AG is lamenting the substantial levels of abuse of financial management and systems and non-compliance. The Honorable Vincent Smith also greatly lamented lack of consequential management. People steal government money in broad daylight, but nothing gets done by the powers that be. Whilst government is providing houses, infrastructure, electricity, roads, clinics, and other development programs, the country would have been very far by now if it were not for these drawbacks. I thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you, sir. The MEC for Education from Mpumalanga, the Honorable Mhaule.
The Chairperson of the NCOP, Modise, His Excellency, the President of the Republic of South Africa, honorable members of the NCOP, MECs who are representing their provinces today here, and leadership, the entire leadership of the Eastern Cape. Receive greetings from Mpumalanga on behalf of the Premier, Mr. Titi Mabuza. Mr. President, as Mpumalanga province, under the leadership of our Premier, we are still shocked about the Middleburg saga. We hope out of it will intensify our struggle to build a non-racial, democratic, and prosperous South Africa. Our commitment will also be compelled with the assistance of the victim himself, so that justice is done. And in Mpumalanga again, Mr. President, we had an incident in Lily Mine wherein our workers are still missing. We are going to support and work with government until this matter is closed, but to the benefit of our members. Again, as Mpumalanga, Madam Chair, we regret the incidents at Umbaba farm wherein one farmer decided to take away the rights of the workers of association, and when they insisted, he expelled all more than 300 workers. We say as government, we are going to support those workers until justice is done. But coming to the issue on the table today, under the theme to deliver quality education
and to ensure economic advancement of our people. Honorable Madam Speaker, the strength of the building is in its foundation. So to make sure that the foundation of education is strong, as Mpumalanga government, we are strengthening the early childhood development programs. To do that, we have established an early childhood development institute, which is an institute that is aiming at training our practitioners, especially those that are teaching the 0 to 4 cohort, age cohort. So we have started, and 1,000 practitioners have been trained on level 1, and 700 practitioners have been trained on level 4. Program Director, Madam Speaker, as Mpumalanga again, we were able to migrate the practitioners who were officially teaching grade R, who are qualified as teachers. They were migrated to be teachers, receiving the salaries of teachers. What we look also was the conditions of farm dwellers and their children, and the schools in those farms. That most of the schools in the farms are multi-grade schools wherein one teacher is teaching all the grades and all the classes in one room. As Mpumalanga government, we then resorted to building boarding school. To date, we have built 5 functional boarding schools. And we have closed 30 dysfunctional farm schools for that regard. So the boarding schools are working very well, and even you can see the life of the young ones has changed. Their level of competency is very high. And on school nutrition, Madam Chair, in Mpumalanga, we are feeding 901,378 learners. So there's nothing that will hold them to stay home and not come to school because they are hungry. So we also, to make sure that education is accessible in Mpumalanga, and that want to address the needs of the economy of the province and the economy of the country, we have established a Math, Science and Technology Academy. And the academy is supported by 4 sub-hubs in each district. And that is aimed at capacitating math, science and technology teachers as well as learners, because it's an e-teaching wherein one teacher will be in the hub and teaching in 100 schools at the same time. And that has started to work. Madam Chair, we have a strategy in place. It's a strategy that we're using since 2010. We don't believe in changing strategies if a strategy is working. You can remember, Madam Chair, that in 2009, Mpumalanga was number last in the country, and we were at 48% in terms of the grade 12 pass results. But the strategy that we used made us, we have seen it yielding fruits. We are now not operating at the bottom of the ladder, but we are positively competing with the provinces on top, and that will take our country to be on top. So if you can recall, even last year when our minister, Umam Enji Mutsecha, announced the results, though we say as Mpumalanga we're at 78.6% last year, but she insisted that we're at 82% because she removed these other learners, the progressed learners, and we were at 82% in the grade 12, but we maintain that we're at 78. That's why even this year, as Mpumalanga, we set a 10% target of improvement, which means if it goes well, we will be at 88%. Madam Chair, to motivate our learners that they should continue with education, all the bursaries from all departments in the province. They were housed in the Department of Education because we are the custodians of the future of all professions. So, as we speak, we are supporting 3,000 learners in all the universities of South Africa. We are supporting them with tuition, accommodation, food, and all the necessities that they need as they do their work. We have joined other provinces to take advantage of our relationships with other countries in South Africa, which is led by His Excellency the President. We have sent students to Cuba, 110 this year. We have sent students to Russia to do medicine, to do engineering, and to do teaching. Some have left on Tuesday, the 14th.
General MEC, as you round up.
Madam Chair, we are not only considering those that are at school, we are also considering the out-of-school youth. We have many programs as the government of Mpumalanga that is addressing the out-of-school youth. We are using our wing, which is called MRTT. We are developing artisans.
Thank you,
we are developing contractors and all this. As I close, Madam Speaker.
You have closed, ma'am. Your time has expired. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Mpumalanga is at work.
The Honorable Mpambu Sibukwana.
Ndiyazibulisela mhlali ngaphambili obekekileyo negqiza lakho. Okokuqala, lihlazo elihlasela umzimba. Okokuba kude kube nangoku emva kweminyaka engama-22 sibe sisayibetha ngoyaba imfundo yabantwana beli kule Mpuma Koloni. Umnqa mhlali ngaphambili ngokuba kwingqaka yomgaqo-seko woMzantsi Afrika.
Please take your seat. Please take your seat, ma'am. Honorable Samka, you are on your feet. Is it a point of order?
Enkosi sihlalo ndicela ukubuza uba ilungu eli likulungele na ukuthatha umbuzo.
Ma'am, will you take a question? She will not, ma'am. Rebecca, ma'am.
Umnqa kukuba kwingqaka yomgaqo-seko woMzantsi Afrika ecace gca kwekati emhlophe ehlungwini hlali ngaphambili. Imfundo elilungelo labantwana beli ngokomgaqo-seko ayigungqe. Mhlali ngaphambili isankxe esivakele kubahlali base Alfred Zone naseBuffalo City siphuhlisa into yokuba kukho ukungoneli okuninzi apha kweli phondo. Ukuphuhlisa oku izindlu zangasese mongameli zabafundisa intsapho ehloko high school azinazincango nezabantwana kukwazibonele. Ndiyazibuza ke ngoku into yokuba liphi elalungelo le-privacy that is being compromised. Iincwadi zokufunda kude kube yile nyanga yenkanga azikho, phofu sakungambazisa inqununu sibuza kuthiwa akukho le kungekho le. Ukuba ke basabika imbiba nebuzi onqununu ithetha into yokuba imfundo yabantwana isesemngciphekweni. Mandiyithethe ngokucacileyo into yokuba ayikho le nto kuthiwa lucweyo lwemvavanyo kwezemfundo, monitoring and evaluation kwii-ofisi zeliphondo. Enxarhuni lo gama mongameli ipuli yakho igcwele ngamanzi. Kukho izikolo eziyi-13 awafiki amanzi mongameli kubahlali basenxarhuni. Idami lona kodwa lisenxarhuni lifika apha eBeacon Bay. Hayi imbi into ziveke zifika emva kwexesha incwadi esika zona phaya kwesaa sikolo sasifunda usomlomo umama unoxolo Kivit sezilungela into yokuba zibe ligoqo. Omnye umlenze ujonge endenxe iifestile zophukile. Mandilume ndiphozisa hlali ngaphambili to the right of the people with disabilities. Usayinile mongameli as South Africa. Imbi ke loo nto mongameli ndifuna uyicacisa into yokuba ehlokoma bade bancama iklasi bayenza ibhasi bayenza iklasi. Indawo yokuphekela ayikho kuthathwa iklasi yenziwa.
Xesha lakho liphelile.
Bensafuna ukubanika.
Thank you very much.
Such a pity. Mhlali ngabensafuna ukubanika.
Thank you very much, Honorable
Mpumalanga yona i-Auditor General it is one of the worst performing
province.
Honorable Mpambo Sibukwan, don't ever do that again. Order. 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 The MEC Infrastructure Development from Gauteng, the Honorable Mama Bolo.
Chairperson, on a point of order.
Honorable Koni, you are on a point of order. Can I hear it?
Mudla Stilo, you could power only consistent. Highly supporters the ANC di khoa khale wa didimala. Mara le tsa batho tsa go follow ga ma DA le ma EFF staging. Ke gona re batho ba rata. You go consistency, Chairperson.
Honorable Koni, please take your seat. I have been consistent and I don't have to explain myself to you. Order. Honorable Mama Bolo.
Chairperson and Deputy Chairperson of the National Council of Provinces, His Excellency, the President of the Republic of South Africa, President Jacob Zuma, Honorable Ministers, Deputy Ministers, Honorable Premiers, MECs, delegates to the NCOP, representatives of local government, our esteemed traditional leaders, fellow South Africans, Molweni. On behalf of the Premier of Gauteng, Honorable David Makura, I'm honored to contribute to this debate, forming part of the program to take Parliament to the people. Let me thank and congratulate the NCOP for choosing a profound theme for this debate, following up on our commitments to deliver quality education and ensure economic advancement of our people. Honorable members, allow me first to acknowledge and welcome the address made by His Excellency, President Jacob Zuma. Let me also upfront agree and appreciate the profound and groundbreaking inputs to this debate made by the NCOP chair, by all honorable members of the African National Congress. I would like to thank and congratulate them for demonstrating beyond any shadow of doubt that only the ANC has answers and solutions to the historic and objective problems facing our people. Let me reaffirm the point that the basis of our commitment to deliver quality education and ensure economic advancement of our people can only proceed from the clauses of the Freedom Charter, the country's constitution, and the National Development Plan. I am sure that the people of our country and this province will agree that only the ANC can correctly represent and outline the contents of these documents. Others, as you have seen, as you have heard them, can only huff, they can only puff, they can only waffle, merely blasting hot air. As I listened to the speakers, you can easily detect best quality and best inputs from the ANC, honorable members, and hot air from the rest. Now, let me say, Honorable Chair, that as I was listening to honorable members of the African National Congress, they remind me of a very historic and important development in Cuba, where one of the Batista police who was meant to shoot El Commandant Fidel Castro, he refused to shoot Fidel Castro and said, ideas will never die, and that's why he couldn't kill Fidel Castro. Now, I want to take this opportunity to say, honorable members, you can hear from the ANC members that the ANC will never die because its ideas will never die. That is why we say, that is why we say ANC lives and ANC leads.
Statistics don't lie.
Let me also take the opportunity on behalf of our province to thank you, Honorable President Jacob Zuma, for a prompt and swift action you took to visit our province following devastating floods. You led from the front and you demonstrated that government must at all times be found amongst our people. As the Commander-in-Chief, Honorable President Zuma, we would like to thank you very much. Now, honorable members, our contribution to this debate is that our 5th provincial administration in Gauteng defines itself as an activist government, a government that engages with all sectors on a continuous and sustained basis, a government that listens and is responsive, and a government that works in partnership with stakeholders towards common goals. This posture of our government has found expression in the highly celebrated, highly acknowledged Ntirisano Outreach Program and the Service Delivery War Room. Now, honorable members, let me share with you some of the achievements we have made, very remarkable achievements achieved through Ntirisano. Firstly, in our province, it's well known that we deliver one of the best quality state-of-the-art schools. The schools are equipped with the best facilities and capabilities to enhance quality public education. We believe in Gauteng, Honorable President, that innovation based on smart technologies enhances the quality of public education. Let me also announce that since July this year, we in the province, Honorable President, deliver 1 smart school every month to the people of our province. Let me also indicate that whilst the smart schools are at a high cost, they are but an important investment that will go deep into the future. They are an investment worth it. They are schools certainly of deep into the future. Now, honorable members, honorable chair, 2 weeks ago, we hosted in our province of Gauteng a delegation from the legislature of KwaZulu-Natal. They came to Gauteng to share experience about smart schools. They were very interested in this initiative. We took them to the city of Tshwane in Harankua. We showed them a smart school, the school of the future. When they left our province, they agreed that in actual fact, Honorable President, the smart schools are a best investment for our people and they enhance public equality education because the future is technology, and as Gauteng, that's where we are. Now, let me also indicate that we have signed a memorandum of understanding with tertiary institutions, with the Department of Higher Education and Public Works, in order to help tertiary institutions expand and grow on their infrastructure requirements. Now, I'd like to say, Honorable President, that whilst we are making progress to deliver quality public infrastructure, whilst we deliver smart technologies for public education, we are very much concerned. Of course, there are still challenges, and one of them is as follows, is that we are noting, and this follows our engagement with Statistics South Africa. They are pointing out, Honorable President, that in our country, and I guess it will be high in our province, many of the learners and the students at even at tertiary institutions, they spend less time in class. And as a result of that, the success rates are going down, and that increases unemployment. And that is a problem that we must confront, that we must address and deal with. We might need, Honorable President, to look at an initiative to encourage learners to spend time in class. Students at universities to spend more time in class because they come out and increase the rate of unemployment. And I can confirm this, that just in expanded public works program, we see many of the young people coming without skills, without education, without job opportunities, and they're also desperate for education. So we have to address the issue of our people not spending time in class, in lecture halls. That breeds unemployment, it contributes to negative effects on the economy, and it leads to poor quality of life, and this is a matter that we want to raise. The other challenge, Honorable President, is that whilst we are delivering on good technology,
Honorable
infrastructure...
MEC, I'm afraid your time has expired.
Thank you very much, honorable members. Thank you very much.
Honorable Mukwili, you will not touch that mic again without being recognized. The next speaker is the Honorable MEC, Economic Development, Environmental Affairs and Tourism, the Honorable Somio.
On a point of order, ma'am.
Will take your seat. You will not touch that mic unless you are recognized.
On a point of order, Chair.
On what point of order are you rising?
Chairperson, the manner in which you are addressing me, you are threatening me. The manner in which you are addressing me, that tone of your voice, is like you are threatening to do something. I would like to be treated like a member of this house. You must treat me as
Take
you
your seat,
treat
ma'am.
other members of the house. You cannot use that
Take
tone.
your seat, Honorable
That tone
Mukweli.
is a tone that you
Take your seat.
You are threatening me, ma'am. Please, I'm appealing to you because I can as well
Take your
use
seat.
that tone. I can as well use the tone. Please.
Take your seat. Honorable Mukweli, you will be treated with respect when you learn to respect the House. Your rights will always be protected. Within the rules of this House, you will take your seat because I'm not going to recognize you. Honorable Somio, please continue.
On a point of order, Chair.
Honorable Chair.
On a point of order, Chair.
Honorable Mukweli, you will not hold this House to ransom. What is your point of order?
I'm still repeating with due respect, Chair.
I have responded to you, respect this
The
House.
manner in which you are addressing, even now when you give me the chance to
Please continue, Honorable Somio.
Honorable Chairperson of the NCOP, His Excellency, the President of South Africa,
On a point of order,
all
Chairperson.
protocols observed.
Chairperson, point of order.
What is your point of order, Honorable Koni?
Don't be emotional, relax. Ma'am, ke kopa hore di rules mo ntlong tse tsotlhe di apply mo ntlong. How address Honorable Mukweli, the member on the podium must at all times sit down according to the rules of the NCOP. The member there was not sitting down. You did not order the member to sit down. So I'm appealing to you that at all.
Your point is
the
sustained.
rules-
Can you please take your seat now? Please continue, Honorable Somio.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson. As the province of the Eastern Cape, we acknowledge the daunting task which we face. It is indeed not frivolous that you have met, encourage the numbers of our own people right through the week. We have been listening to them because we've been together with them for the rest of our own time. These matters are very serious matters. Many of our people, those we went to school with, and even those who strive to get a better education, we want to say, yes, indeed, as the province of the Eastern Cape was so committed to provide a quality education in their lifetime. Many of us had to brave very difficult conditions, even the ultimate price that had to be paid at the time when we realized the hardship that this is indeed a cause to die for. We are proud that this morning you have taken time not only to respond to those calls, but to commit to our people that indeed will make this a province, a better country for the people to live in. Nje mhlali ngaphambili ukulungisa kwelinye ilungu elibekekileyo belikhela lapha kwa ukulungisa ayomakadiya macadamia yimacadamia lindongomani elikwaziyo ukudliwa lilungisa kuba eli lempuma koloni lisebenza kufutshane nabantu balo. Esesibini isilungiso
sisokuba la company ikampani yabantu baseNcega 51% ownership of the company is in the name of a trust which recognizes the people of Ncega village. 49% of it goes to the private. Xa nihamba niphulaphula, nibone ukuphulaphula, nibuye ngokwenyaniso, nithi daka xa apha kuthi okwinyaniso kuphela. Yes, indeed, siyavuma okokuba ingxaki esinazo zimandla. Kunjalo nje ubukho benu buyasivuyisa okokuba nizibone zonke ezindawo beniye kuzo. Ukuze xa sithetha ngezingxaki ingabi ngathi ngunabenani. Kunjalo imihla nezolo sisitsho sisithi ulwabiwo lezimali alujongani nemeko ebekuyo ngezolo. Ulungelelaniso kufuneka ibe enye yezinto ejongwa ngokumandla. That is why we made a telling presentation to the institution that deals with the actual distribution of resources of this country. The manner in which we made that contribution is the recognition of the fact that the Eastern Cape won't be equal to any other province because of its own past, which had enjoyed and endured a very harsh reality of the former Transkei, of the former Ciskei, of the former Republic, and indeed the equation will never be reaching equilibrium for over a time, not unless resourcing does observe equity. And if that equity is observed, will not come on this podium and cry on matters that we experience, not only experience, we deal with on a daily basis. We're so grateful to be the leadership of this province who has contributed in improving the lives of those who have been affected by such harsh conditions, whether in education, whether in the economy, whether on health. Those are daily experiences which our own people are confronted. Thank you, Madam Chair, with your team, for having come to this province. Thank you, Mr. President, for having led in a resounding way those who have taken upon themselves to say the infrastructure in our schools must be developed. In your own words, you said the minister yesterday went to open one other school. We celebrate each and every month for a new school to be opened, which is for us a reality of taking our own people away from the mud schools. But that is not an easy task. That needs resources. When the time the country, not only the country South Africa, but the world over experiences the economic hardship, which we must be able to look after and work together with the private interest to ensure that our people, our children would enjoy better life and better life in our own lifetime. Yes, Honorable Chairperson, if we want our kids, our learners, to have the highest of discipline, we must start here. You can't have a member who doesn't want to shy away from the fact that he or she is a parent and parade this house with his shirt and overall, which is hoops in his own structure, the zip which is loose. That is the hardship which our teachers experience on a daily basis.
Honorable
That
Somio,
sense
please
of
take your
discipline.
seat. Honorable Koni, you are rising on a point of order.
I want to address the chairperson.
Order! I want to hear the point of order.
Chair.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. That's not a point of order. Please sit down. That is not a point of order.
Ubuelele.
Honorable Koni, thank you. Honorable Somio.
Tina Skrugel Pondo, Sichincha Ukuhlala, Sizinsa Uluntu ngendlela engcono. Yilondo sisithi ubangaba uyajonga ukusuka kweliya lasentshona usiya ngasempuma usuka eJeffreys Bay uyotsho eNciba. This Eastern Cape yesterday was a consumer of power. Today, this Eastern Cape is a producer of power. Not only just power, renewable energy. You'll see the wind turning all the time, fitting into the grid.
Honorable MEC.
For us to have that contribution.
Pelili Klesha. The Honorable Pakis.
Masihloniphe umongameli. Sihloniphe usihlalo NCOP. Sihloniphe amalungu weParliament akhoyo. Sihloniphe nabantu bethu basekuhlaleni. Ndicela ngokuzithoba kusihlalo xa ndishekelwe imizuzu emine undazise. Dinomphako sihlalo for EFF ne-DA. Umphako wam omele basibaphathise wona esandleni uthi when you deal with the extreme left and deal simultaneously with the white liberals, in terms of the political spectrum, there's always connection in terms of the behavior and the conduct. When you talk of the EFF, they say they are on the left. They denounce capitalism, but unconsciously fortify capitalism by proportion of the deeds and disparate resolve and sense of emptiness. The same happens with your white liberal party in a form of DA. And when Lenin in 1918 talks about the ultra-leftists, says, I quote, they devote more efforts to learning by hearts and committing to memory revolutionary slogans than to think them out, close quote. Honorable Chair, the DA in our society remains an embodiment of incorrigible white liberal party and with a tinge of disparate engorged black elites. Manipulate our people.
Point of
Honorable Pakis, please take your seat. Honorable Lond.
Chairperson, it's Honorable Faber, actually.
Honorable Faber.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, my point of order is that it's the party. Now, Chairperson.
Honorable Faber, what is the point of order?
The point of order is that we are the most diverse party in the country, of all races.
Thank you, sir, but that is not a point of order. Please continue.
Chairperson, the DA has appropriated our leaders and failed to appropriate correct values, because one of the revolutionary values is honesty. Because honesty in society, honesty in politics will never win you or secure victory, but will secure integrity. The same leader of DA, because of dishonesty, undermined whimsically the rules of parliament that members must declare in parliament. There's a money that the leader of DA did not declare in parliament. Instead, they use our courts as normal, as usual, and the court favored this member of DA who is being honest and have guts to tell the leadership of the
Honorable
ANC
Pakis,
about the
take your
integrity
seat.
and dishonesty.
Honorable Pakis, take your seat. Honorable Gauteng, you are on your feet.
Honorable
Order
Chair, I
members,
would
there
like
is a
to
member
know
on the
whether
floor.
the member
Honorable
will take a
Gauteng.
question specifically on the topic that is now addressing.
I didn't get the point, sir. Please repeat yourself.
Honorable Chair, it's unfortunately ANC is shouting from my left.
Order members, I can't hear the speaker on the floor. Please proceed.
Very little discipline, Honorable Chair. I would like to know whether a member will take a question on the issue he's now addressing.
Honorable Pakis, will you take a question? Are you saying yes or no?
I'm saying no.
He's saying no, sir. Please proceed.
Chairperson, with education, all things are subject to interpretations. Whichever interpretation prevails at a given time is a function of power, not truth. It's an honor to me to be part of this debate on education, because education is a master determinant of change and the heartbeat of our revolution. We want to acknowledge and appreciate the commitment that our education in the province is still continuing. Because
Chairperson.
Honorable Pakis, please take your seat. Honorable Koni.
Thank you very much. I want to ask if the member will take a question that
Honorable Pakis, will you take a question?
The chief whip of the NCOP is accusing him of rape.
Honorable
Thank
Koni,
you.
he will not take a question. Please proceed, Honorable Pakis.
Chairperson, the moral basis of our collective efforts is its rootedness in the social needs of the great masses of our people. We need not dare or feign dishonesty and populism. An artificial climate of crisis cannot be a regular diet to us and the masses. The opposition will always spell horrible inventive to justify their avalanche attacks on the ANC government and its policies, and implement still the same policies, because our revolutionary ideas shall always prevail. Chairperson, two fundamental issues that I want to deal with on policy level. We need to review, Mongameli, the quintile system, because it's not scientific. It's not assisting our schools. That's one policy issue which we need to review as ANC government. The second issue, Chairperson, which we need to review is an issue that deals with learners with barriers and have connection on the implementation of the curriculum adaptation and inclusive education. 4 minutes, okay, oh shit. So, it is normal, Chair, in life that people who are confabulated, they experience their false memories as true and always fumble. And it is not a unique situation that currently DA and EFF will always behave as such. Chair, because we refer to ourselves as revolutionaries, we need always to be honest. As ANC, we don't withstand, dismiss challenges that are facing our education in South Africa, not only in the Eastern Cape. And because of that honesty. We want to say any must be challenged, any policy that does not
Honorable
assist.
Pakis, please take your seat. Honorable Esak.
Honorable Chairperson, with your permission.
Order, I want to hear the member. Honorable Esak, please.
Honorable Chairperson, yes, with your permission, may I address a question to the confused speaker?
Honorable Pakis, will you take a question?
Chair, I will not take any question.
Honorable Esak, he will not take a question. Please proceed, Honorable Pakis.
Chairperson, the point that I was making is any policy that is not working must be reviewed in the best interest of our people. Any bureaucratic element that makes it impossible and retard the progress must be changed and be tampered with for the better and common good of our children. And we say to DA and EFF, ANC will never take any gelatinous view on issues that affects our people, because we say we lead the society, we are a revolutionary movement.
Honorable Pakis, there is a point of order. Honorable Mukwili. Honorable Mukwili is on the floor. Yes, ma'am, proceed.
May I proceed, Chair?
Yes, ma'am.
I heard you raising your voice. I'm so scared.
I was asking
Please.
Honorable Koni to respect you.
Oh, but you are raising your voice too much, Chairman. You are scaring us. Please, stop that. Chair, I want to check how many times will you review your policies? Don't refer to us. We are not in
Honorable
government
Mukwili.
yet. We are going to be in government and
Honorable
we are going
Mukwili,
to teach you how
please
the
take your
education is run.
Take
Don't
your
refer
seat.
to us. We are not in government.
Honorable
We are
Mukwili,
coming.
take your
Victory
seat.
certain. Victory set.
Oh, wait. Honorable Mukwili, do not abuse the privilege to speak in the House. If members wish to pose a question on the person on the podium, that person must give permission. You cannot go straight to a question. Honorable Pakis is indicating that he's not taking the question. Please proceed, Honorable Pakis.
Chairperson, we call ourselves public representatives, and that's why we decided to come to Eastern Cape and focus on education, because education is a master determinant of change and the heartbeat of our revolution. And anywhere where there are gaps and challenges, it is us as ANC leadership who must identify the gaps and deal with the gaps, not the opposition to tell us how to deal with the challenges that are facing our society. We are challenges in our education system, because, Chairperson, honesty is a revolutionary value for us as leadership. Thank you.
Thank you. Order. Order. The Honorable the President. Order. Order.
On a point of order, Chairperson.
Order.
Chairperson.
Honorable President, please take your seat. Honorable Koni, please take your seat, sir. Please
Sit
take your
down.
seat.
Sit down.
Honorable Koni.
Chairperson.
Honorable Koni, address
Chairperson.
me.
Chairperson. No, I just want to
Order,
put it on
members.
record. Chairperson, I just want to put it on record that the EFF will not be part will not be part of Zuma's closure, and that the EFF will not listen to a thug. We don't recognize this man. Thank you very much.
A thief, murderer, rapist.
Your point has been noted. Order, members. Order. Order. Members, order. The members of the EFF, you have given notice that you are leaving the house. Do so orderly. Order. Honorable President, please proceed.
Thank you very much, Chairperson of the NCOP and all the leadership which is here from different categories. I must thank the speakers who participated in the discussions today on a very important issue of education in our country. I'm happy also that many provinces reported on what they are doing and have done, including this province which is hosting this parliament today. It has been indeed very informative in terms of each province giving an account of what they've done and what they're doing. I'm sure that has helped the country to appreciate the work of the NCOP in particular. That gives us the opportunity to listen to our colleagues in the provinces. I must congratulate you, Chair, for choosing the theme of education when you came to the Eastern Cape this time around, precisely because the matter of education is our apex priority in the country. It does therefore need reflection by those in government as to what are the issues. I must also say that education is very important for us to look at on a continuous basis, partly because education in our country has a very unfortunate history. I was taken aback when I heard one of your speakers saying that we should not be talking about the past when we talk about the conditions in this country, particularly education. It's just 20 years since we defeated apartheid. I doubt that we have forgotten what is the history and the background with regard to education in this country, and why we had to identify education as an apex priority. I'm saying this because it is very common that when analysts and commentators talk about South Africa, perhaps with the countries that are the same level with South Africa, they always forget the matter of education in South Africa. In other countries, there was never education for other groups and not education for other groups. What South Africa did in the apartheid days, and we cannot glide over this. developed policies that excluded the black majority from the education system of South Africa, and therefore created the huge majority which was not necessarily skilled, and others deprived of education. That was the reason why, when the people of this country met in the Congress of the People in 1955, identified the issue of education as one of the key issues and said the doors of learning should be open to all, because they were closed to the majority. You can't then, when you are discussing education, say people should forget that, and why education is an issue today. Why in this very province we have to replace mud schools with real schools. It's not a joke. It's not a history from 1994. It's a history that affected the education system in this country for decades. And therefore, to identify this as an important issue to talk about has been one of the perfect decisions that we took as the NCOP. In other words, to say, where are we with education? What is happening? Why in South Africa, not in other countries, many children fail, and why you have problems of children that are said to be having difficulties with mathematics. I'm sure many of you will recall that one of the prime ministers historically said something very telling, that the black people did not need mathematics because they've got no place to use it, because their job is to be just clerks and other inferior kind of work. We are almost like starting afresh to correct the unfortunate historic problems that were created by wrong policies. And that's why we talk about this, and that's why we can talk about the replacing mud schools. Because education was not meant to accommodate the black majority. That's why we have a shortage of universities, particularly in the areas where the black majority stays. So it is an important debate that you brought about, and one is very pleased that there is an effort to change that bitter and painful history. The MEC from the Eastern Cape, Somyo, refers to that history as harsh reality. That's what we are dealing with, and I'm happy that you made yourself chair very important observations on this key task, national task of our country with regard to schools, particularly the question of water and sanitations in schools, which is a reality in the areas that are populated by the black majority. It's not a single school in the former white areas that you can find children when they want to relieve themselves, have got to walk out of the yard, go to the bush. There isn't. And therefore, the appreciation of the problem is different from those, even different from those who are now conniving with them, even if they come from the black majority. They pretend these problems do not exist, and they do exist, and we'll talk about them because we needed to address them. I must also underline the point you made with regard to educators themselves, their quality. They are affected by the same history. You said we need to prepare the educators better so that they can produce better students. I think it's a matter we need to focus on, particularly because education is one of the key activities for any nation. We need to invest deliberately on education, because investing in education, you are investing in the future of the country. So it is a matter that I think we cannot just raise issues and then end there. I would be more happier that when the NCOP perhaps does its evaluation, take these matters and try to bring concrete proposals that must say, these are the things you have observed, you believe we need to do something about them, these problems, so that it must begin to influence even how the budgeting is done to address these issues.
I have a member on his feet. Please take your seat. Honorable Hatton.
Honourable Chair, I would like to know whether the questionable ruling of Honourable Tal earlier in terms of Rule 45.1 and 45.2 is still in existence, as the President has considerably exceeded his time.
President, please take your seat. I want to address the member. Please take your seat, Honorable Hatton. The earlier ruling of the Honorable Tau is still in place. The second matter which we must be conscious about as the NCOP is that, in fact, we are doing two things in one. We are dealing with the annual address of the President to the NCOP and his response to the conclusion of taking Parliament to the people. President, you are in order. Please continue.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The point I was making was that to take your very useful interaction forward, I would propose, because we have touched on the matters that are known, that are a problem, that if there could be very specific resolutions that should the country look at about what do we do to further improve education. It's absolutely important for you to do so. Because if we talk one of the important factors, that is why our leader, Madiba, referred to it as an instrument to change the world. Now, if we want our country to change and deal with the legacy of apartheid and really become a democratic country, you would want to invest properly and deal with some of the matters that you made observations on. So I am very happy, Chair, that the discussions today focus on this very important issue that we were dealing with. And whenever we deal with it, we should not shy away from remembering the harsh realities of our history of education in our country. So I would like to thank you and thank particularly representatives from the provinces who have participated in the discussions and made very clear contributions. And I'm happy that the reports are saying we are doing something on it. We are changing, therefore, the face of the basic education in terms of the schools. And I would also venture to say you need to raise the issue of higher education facilities. Universities in our country are not enough. You therefore need to say we must open up the space and invest in creating universities and TVETs so that our young people spend time at schools to empower themselves. You will agree with me that in January, there is almost without fail stampede with kids trying to find a space to further their education. And indeed, the space is not enough. But also the cost of education, if you take the harsh realities of our history where we come from, is absolutely important. I must thank the MEC from Gauteng, who has moved in terms of the smart schools and ICT, and they call it the e-learning, wherein they're trying to get rid of the papers but deal with technology. Gauteng could, of course, succeed to do so. It was another element that was put here. Education is something that is very important. But I will also say, as the NCOP, which goes to provinces, you must encourage parents in particular not to be hands-off in education, to participate, to ensure that education becomes a societal task. It is not the task of teachers only. It's a task of all of us. Thank you very much to take this important issue into discussion. Thank you very much.
Order. There is no point of order. Honorable members, before I adjourn the sitting, I would like to request you to remain standing. And even before I do that, to take just a moment to appreciate the warmth of the people of the Eastern Cape since we have spent time here. Siyanibonga. This concludes the business, and this House is adjourned.